And welcome back, everyone, to Weber State Esports, where we do have a little special game for you today, as we were not informed until earlier that it is actually continuing our NECC playoff games. For those of you who joined us last night, what a series it was as Weber State went ahead and took it 2-0. We're hoping that we're going to continue today, as we do have Weber State Esports versus Cumberland Phoenix.
Yeah, Cumberland University, our opponents today, they are the 6th rated seed in the entirety of the playoffs. Weber State second, just in case for those of you who weren't here yesterday. I'm fairly excited for the matchup. We saw some explosive gameplay from Weber yesterday. They ended up taking that best of 3 2-0. So maybe they'll be able to pull off the same thing today, but we'll have to see.
It will be very interesting to see as things get going, what the drafts turn out to be. We saw Weber actually fall behind early in those two games. They had some rough things going on, but I think that overall it will be a great game.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see it. We've seen some cool stuff. Well, I mean, there's only so long we can repeat ourselves. We've got a small little wait before we jump into draft, but we should be able to just in a moment here, folks. So stay tuned. And look, there it is. We see Weber State on the blue side and Cumberland Phoenix on the red.
Yeah, so let's dive right into this draft, see what Weber decides to do, see what Cumberland decides, and how things pan out. What will Weber get rid of? They will get rid of the dead man in the top lane himself, Scion.
Yeah, so honestly, feels like we've been in a lot of a tank meta recently. For those of you who haven't been keeping up with Worlds, top lane, especially with some of the potential for lane swaps, really has moved on to a heavy lane swappable tank champions. Things like Scion, Ornn, Jax somewhat more defensively.
Yeah, it's just the frustrating thing where the team that doesn't want to fight in the bot lane is going to be able to simply say, okay, bot lane, go top, be annoying, and then that top laner has to survive. And Riot, from the bottom of my soul, fix it, please.
Yeah, I'd like to see it happen, because right now, most top laners that want to play the game, Jace, Urgot, we even saw yesterday, did pretty well. These aggressive top laners just can't do lane swaps.
They really struggle and have to get bullied until they eventually will come online later, but it's such a detrimental effect to them that you want them early and they just can't. But let's talk about some of these other bands that have come through. Nidalee and Galio for Weber State. Very strong jungler and mid laner coming out. And we're seeing a Banapalooza with the Kiana and the Belveth going away.
Yeah, it looks... Oh, okay. I was going to say, maybe they'll go 3 for 3 in bans for you, who... Worth noting, you very high up on the ladder right now. We learned this just earlier today. Both you and Sendy in the top 150 or so. So pretty impressive performances from Weber. I'm happy to see. I'm hoping that you can see some of that in game too.
Should be interesting to see how things pan out, as Sendy, funny enough, we're going to talk about, going to get banned away. His Lucian, goodbye, you don't get to play it. But he says, fine, you didn't ban Yunara. I had some decent success yesterday playing it in the second game, though it did look a little bit frustrating at times, especially into that heavy bruiser composition that the enemy team had last time. Sendy was struggling a little bit into the Urgot, I remember it was Urgot and Aatrox.
And Diana, the important thing that Yunara struggles with, she scales so well, her damage is immense, but dive is really hard for her to deal with. She's not as mobile as she seems. She's got one dash, but if you can manage to follow that, you can lock her down pretty easily. So we'll see if Cumberland can draft a competition, and there's some of that dive I was talking about. Wukong, a great champion for that.
Yeah, Mel also getting picked up. She can reflect a lot of Yunara's damage with that W. If you throw a Yunara W at Mel and she reverses it onto you, that's a lot of reverse damage. So we'll see what Weber decides to do. Do they pick up I was going to say a Lulu early to cement the Yunara Lulu, but no. They will simply go, okay, you got the monkey, I have plants. Plants versus monkey coming soon.
Yeah, they hit sequel from PopCap, although I suppose you're still saying the official names there. But I mean, hey, I like Zyra. Use a very strong Zyra. Zyra jungle kind of fallen out of the meta a little bit as the more bruiser Sundered Sky junglers have risen up in priority. But we know that Weber has a mean, like, Zyra ADC rather. What am I saying? Zyra jungle. And then a strong AD mid champion. Things like Zed. Things like, I think we saw Yone in the past.
Should be interesting to see what Goku decides to bring out, as what will Cumberland pick into this Yorick, and it's the Cho'Gath. And we've talked about it. A lot of people think Cho'Gath is this amazing counter to Yorick. You just sustain off of his minions, and you just get super fed. But we saw Batau simply say no yesterday. I believe he's second after he finished his Trinity Force. Second eyed him an Executioner's Calling, which means, oh, Cho'Gath, you don't have a passive anymore.
I think he even had it like after Sheen. I think he went Sheen, Executioner's Calling, and then Trinity. So York understands, clearly in this case Patau's York, understands what makes the Cho'Gath matchup decent for Cho'Gath. And the moment you remove it, Cho'Gath struggles a lot.
I want to make mention really quick of the Yone Yasuo ban coming in from Weber. They're saying this Mel is not a mid lane Mel. This is going to go in the bot lane.
Yeah, it feels weird, right? Because especially after Faker popularized it at Worlds, Mel was heavily a mid lane champion. So to see double Wind Brothers banned out is weird. I understand it's like Wukong has good knockup, so Yasuo obviously loves that, and Yone is good follow-up. But it feels odd as Nami locked in for Phoenix. Okay, Lucian's already banned, so the other common matchups are like Draven and Corki. I wonder what they'll pick last.
We'll see here soon enough as what does Weber decide to round out their comp. They still need their mid laner, and they need their support. Speak of support, and he will come. We do have Mystique's on Bard. It was banned all last week and the week before.
All right, yeah, we've got just the last two picks for both teams here. My guess is, again, we talked about a heavy AD mid laner when you have a Zyra jungler is what Weber likes to have a lot. So a couple different options here. I'd like to, what kind of champions are you thinking of? I'm thinking like Zed's still open, right?
Zed's still open. I'm trying to think of other AD mid laners, and nope, Jace was not on my list.
Yeah, I can't say Jace was on my list either. I mean, I'm happy to see it. I'm personally huge Jace fan, for those of you who don't know. Shout out Jace. Shout out Arcane in a way too, right?
Oh, the star-crossed lovers.
Oh yeah, actually, it is Mel and Jace. Wow, look at that. I somehow didn't even register that.
Yeah, so what does Phoenix decide to... There's the Cork you mentioned that usually is paired with the Nami. So this is a male mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I expected. I'm kind of surprised Weber didn't seem to expect that as well. So either way, clearly they've got every setup now. Corki, Nami bot lane, very aggressive. Nami E is so strong. So, all right, well, I think we're just about ready to jump in the game here, folks. So thank you for a small amount of patience. Obviously, there didn't have to be much because League of Legends time.
Yeah, we go ahead and load in onto the Rift. And actually, excuse me, I am wrong. This is a lane swap Corki mid male ADC.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I'm wrong too. I did not think Mel would be bot, but I feel like the other weird thing, Phase Rush Corki?
I just have to go off for something. Thank you so much, Mystiques. I have been heard. I have been saying it ever since he's played it. We get Bard. Oh, I'm so happy.
Yay, I'm happy to see Bard as well. It's such a fun skin, right? It fits the aesthetic of what Bard wants to do so well.
Doot, magic flute.
Meanwhile, on the top lane, we see Patau back on. That is Patau, by the way, folks. I believe they have the new mode on where you hide your summoner name. But it is, of course, our great top laner Patau. Meanwhile, a little bit of an invade here from Weaver trying to just get a ward down, right? The classic late ward to catch out where the enemy jungle is going. Goku getting a good walk up here, going to proc the phase rush and immediately use all of his spells that he has access. Jace, unfortunately, a little unfair at level 1, has 3 spells, kind of.
Yes, he has his Q, his transformation, and then the Q from melee and ranged. Also worth noting, we mentioned it yesterday, but for those of you who weren't with us yesterday, Phase Rush did get nerfed. It now goes from 75% slow resistance to only 50% slow resist, which is a big deal. When Jace crashes down on you with his melee Q to the skies, it slows significantly.
Yeah, so this matchup, I can understand why Corki felt like he needed to go Phase Rush, especially because Jace mid almost always takes Phase Rush. It means you have to be able to match that movement speed game. Now, this bot lane looks pretty rough, to be honest with you, because the Mel going bot does mean that, honestly, the range matchup is heavily against Weaver's favor. Inara has not great range for most of the game.
But one of the considering factors is Sendi will have better wave clear till first time.
Yeah, just about then. Once Mel gets a couple more points in her E, which is what Mel's max nowadays, for those of you that don't know this or have been trying out Mel recently, haven't been able to have much success, E max. It's incredibly helpful. Your root is your most important part of your kit, I would argue. I mean, your reflect is certainly flashy, but your root is so important.
I will say, funny enough, that why am I forgetting the...
BDD, KT's mid laner.
KT's mid laner would disagree with you, but that's because he was going in the Faker and needed the damage.
Yeah, I can totally understand. All right, meanwhile, just these lanes mostly just farming as Sendy going for a deep ward, saying, hey, this lane phase is going to be a bit awkward anyway, but we have more, as you said, lane push, right? We're under threat of damage, but if the jungler shows up, it could be disastrous. So sacrificing a decent amount of time, a little bit of experience, and their ward for a deep jungle track, which should catch a Wukong shortly.
They also knew that TH3 was in the top side because of that early cheeky ward that we talked about that people always like to get onto the Raptors. And now full vision on the jungler. It is the most lovely thing you get to see. Tells you exactly what's going on. You'll also notice Yu is finishing his last camp right now while TH3 still has 2 camps up.
Yeah, which means that you actually get in maybe a bit of a cheeky position here, walking into this bush currently. There's still a ward that Weaver is aware of there, and I think you managed to just barely walk around and understanding vision there. Will be cut out by Wukong's really, really well-placed ward. That being said, Goku roaming down as well. I don't think TH3 has the time to stick around. Cumberland being forced out of their own jungle at minute 3.
Yep, quick little cheek by Goku. A flash by Mystiques to try to get the root on. Goku in a little bit of trouble, but yeah, that's just a simple flash away from the jungler for Mystique's flash and ignite, really putting this Wukong behind, and that's what you need to do. Wukong is not strong early. He is much better scaling, and it's just tempo to you, and that's what you play jungle Zyra for. Insanely stupid tempo.
Yep, that's pretty much it, right? Wukong's whole thing is he's one of the junglers that needs to farm to 6 and then can start making plays. Zyra does not need to. She has an insanely long-range, safe route immediately at level 2, 3, depending on when she takes it, and then she just starts to make plays. Goku almost canceling a base of a Wukong there, TH3 standing in a good position. Looks like there was a gank mid that Goku was under threat of, but did not have to flash, so not too bad at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, when you escape flash 3, feels great. Mystique's gonna take some damage from the solar binding into the male Q. I do not know what it's called. I just know that the E is called solar binding. For those of you in chat want to look it up, tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead.
Honestly, please do. I don't know Mel's Q's name either. Mel's a little bit too new for me and was not played almost at all until Worlds, I would say. When she first released, she was played here and there, but no one really ended up attaching to her, saying that she was that strong. Recently, though, very, very popular champion all over the place, as there's a play in the mid lane, a flash away from Gorky that still ends up dying. Maybe Scorch from Goku, if I had to guess. That was real close.
Scorch. Also, I think there was possible lingering damage from the already completed Faded Ashes on you.
Ah, yeah, that's likely what it was, which must have meant, because obviously Jace did end up getting the kill, so they had to have some sort of reliable damage. You see actually here on the top side, for once this matchup seeming to go in the favor of Fiji at the start. Again, the longer the game goes on, it can be tough. But so far, Cho'Gath up in experience by quite a bit.
I think it also really does help that in the game we saw Fiji actually gonna just simply die to the tower because of this teleport. But because of a minion hitting earlier, a ghoul from Batao will cause the 8-second timer to not be enough. That kill goes over to Batao. That is best case scenario.
Yeah, that's pretty disastrous for Cho'Gath. We were just talking about how he was doing pretty well in the matchup, and actually seems to show that it was almost a fair matchup for Cho'Gath, and then there it goes.
I mean, at the end of the day, Odd Koala, keep going. Cast or curse the heck out of the enemy team.
I am a Weaver fan, so I don't mind per se, but I do want some fair gains. I can't just cast or curse them for forever. Wukong attempting for a cheeky gank there in mid lane. TH3 will not find anything, but will absorb some experience, which they desperately need. Look at the experience difference in jungle right now. Wukong just hit 5. Yu has been 6 for a while.
And it's just going to keep growing as a fight over the Scuttle Crab going to happen. TH3 knows I can't do anything as there is a bard in my top lane, says Fiji.
Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do about it, though. Sendy's already being punished as much as they can, but unfortunately with a good slow circle, or the slurkle as the LCK likes to call it, Sendy getting a tower shot or 2 on Suki. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, actually wasn't quite able to catch that. It looks like Corky got solo killed by Jace.
We love to see Jace doing well when Goku's playing.
I mean, I like to see Jace. I'm going to say it. I like to see Jace doing well all the time. I'm almost more Jace biased than Weaver. It's probably not true, but man, I love Jace. What a fun champion.
Well, and interestingly, we do notice that Phoenix will go ahead and get this first dragon because they know Zyra is up and around. But the moment Batao got his ultimate, and because of that kill, the lane state just instantly swaps. The amount of ghouls that the Maiden is able to summon, the extra damage that it does means that, holy crap, goodbye tower. And Fiji cannot walk up because Batao is simply proxying, and Yu is here being annoying They will go ahead and walk out here now. Save the Maiden. Very well played. Is that going to be four plates? Not quite yet. As the Maiden will get feasted. Rest in peace. As in the bot lane, Mystiques and Sendy going to go ahead and get a kill down. As Sendy went ahead and popped the Transcend oneself.
Very strong part of Yunara's kit. It makes her a lot safer, right? She gets that constant up time of her Q, the dash now instead of just the movement speed star. It's the only part of time that Yunara isn't immediately killable.
And it doesn't help that, as Goku getting a lot of damage here in the mid lane, Corki doing what he can. What I was going to say before this action happened was, Mel's ult is great, but not if you're getting dove. It's great to finish the fight, it's great to add a little bit of extra damage, as you simply going to say, hey, we have a Yorick. What goes good with Yorick? Grubs.
That's our incredibly high-ranked jungler right there at Weber, folks. 72 CS to 50 on Wukong. And a lot of that has been you has found insane angles to invade when you least expect it. We haven't been able to highlight it fully, but check your minimap every once in a while, folks. You'll see you invading deep into the enemy jungle, finding these windows of opportunity, and that's put them so far ahead.
With this blue also being warded, this Wukong cannot catch a break. He's done the best he can, but at the end of the day, it is just... Well, you know what they say about Zyra, it's her jungle.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, she's part of it in a way with the planting thematic, but I mean, even so, Zyra's so fast at clearing. She's up there in terms of some of the fastest clears in the game, like Zed and Karthus, I want to say, are the ones that can rival her. But other than those champions, I mean, there's not much that outclasses her. Now, Corki in a little bit of danger here. It looks like could be dove. Bard wants to go for the play. Mystique's looking to do so. Managed to connect it with the Bluetooth Q a little bit there.
Bluetooth, that's fun. I've never actually heard that before. But for those of you going, that didn't hit, what it means is when a character dashes in League of Legends, their hitbox does not update until the dash finishes. So that Corki, while he was moving, still was technically where he was. Really weird. Spaghetti code. Love you, Riot.
I mean, sometimes you can do some cheeky buffers, even though your hitbox is there, but Corki is not one of those champions. He can easily be CC'd when getting caught by things. Also, Bard Q is known to do that just in general, right? Bard Q and Nautilus Q, known to do a little bit of lollipopping, as some people call it. I recently decided to call it Bluetoothing, as you heard. I just think it's funny.
Bard, people. We love it. As speaking of Bard, he is almost going to be level 6 here. That's a lot of damage onto Goku already. He has his Ghost Blade finished. He is terrifying, well on his way to getting his Muramana.
So the most important thing I want to highlight from Weaver is not just Goku's damage, but the level differences. Across the board, you up 3 levels on Wukong. Goku up 2 levels on the enemy mid laner. Sendy up a level, despite the fact that he's had to play Bahak a little bit. It's because Mystiques has been roaming so much, right? And then topside also a level. Weaver is so far ahead, and actually looks like they're going for a play. They might be diving bot lane here. Suki in a bit of danger, and you still full health, so he could dive very easily.
Especially with these bard shrines that they're using to heal up. That, unfortunately, Suki is not going to be enough. You're not in execute range. Well played trying to get it. Luckily for Suki, though, does not consume the ult.
Looks like Cumberland Phoenix trying to make a play on the other side of the map, going for the dive onto Batal, but Goku has roamed all the way up beautifully. A good Cyclone to stop the initial damage to the skies, but when you're doing it entirely to stop just that burst, it's not super great. Goku could now get his cooldowns back, go for the play. Oh, just barely a Bluetooth Wukong Q there even. A lot of long-range spells connecting at the last possible moment in this game, but a great sequence of plays from Cumberland Phoenix. Overall, though, Weber does end up ahead.
On the bot side, though, we saw it pop up on the kill screen. Retronizing did go ahead and get a kill onto Mystiques. So very well played for them.
Yeah, again, Cumberland's trying to trade evenly and is not doing terribly. But overall, the scoreline's not looking great, right? So far, they're 2 kills to 8 in Weber's favor. Weber's up 5,000 gold or so right now.
And also, Mystiques, we love you, never change. Just being a menace on Bard. Gonna run into some trouble here as Nami and Corki collapsing. Will use Bard doing Bard things. Unfortunately, there's also a Cho'Gath here. Just gonna run for the hills, be as annoying as possible. The dutes he's able to collect being so good. Will go ahead and flash. Get the... I didn't realize that was a thing that could happen. He stunned the Wukong on his own clone. Nami bubble and wave used. And then Mel simply dies to Sendy 1v1 now, and towers are going down. Oh my gosh, Mystiques, you are a menace.
Yeah, and he's continuing to be a menace. Still stayed for too long and might actually be able to pick up the kill. Wukong doesn't have Cyclone, does have Flash though, so I think finally Mystiques will be punished for his crimes. It just took a long while. There's the Flash. The Q goes through, and unfortunately, it looks like even though TH3 does end up getting the kill, they will be dying here fairly simply. All the while, Weaver gets another Drake in the bot side, actually their first Drake of the game. Goku picks up the kill onto Wukong. Man, Weaver is starting to run away with this.
All the while, though, Sendy is left in the bot lane alone, getting just chunks and chunks on this tower. May be able to take it really quickly. Gonna go for it. Does get the tower. That could be a kill onto the Mel as well. They will be able to get away. And Corki in the mid lane under some threat as well. But man, these fights just continuing everywhere. Yorick gonna have to sacrifice his maiden to the chomp of the Cho'Gath. Though, once you hit 6 chomps on the maiden, it's not really beneficial to keep using it. You don't keep getting more. You need to use it on champions. But it is smart to get rid of the maiden because of how much damage the maiden does.
Oh, I didn't realize maiden counted for those minion stacks. I thought maiden was one of those like more epic things that could keep going beyond. I thought that was one of the reasons the matchup was so good. I did not know that.
I believe it counts the same as things like Tibbers and Daisy, which count as pets, which fall under the minion category.
Fair enough. Well, that makes me believe even more this matchup just isn't that great. Other than the fact that, hey, at least you can one-shot maiden, right? That's a lot of your X damage late game. So, again, I understand. And certainly, Fiji has been showing a lot more of why the matchup can work this game. When we saw it yesterday, it just wasn't looking great. So kudos to them. And Cumberland as a whole, despite the fact that they're very far behind, I still feel like they can make plays, that they have the ability to do something. They just have to claw back a lot.
They have to keep clawing back, but Mystiques. Oh, it's so good. Just sitting in bushes, waiting, getting that cosmic binding, being a terror.
Yeah, the terror of Summoner's Rift right now, which you think would be Cho'Gath because it's a giant monster, but no, it's a random bard that appears anywhere and somehow nearly escapes after annoying people for 4 minutes.
Canonically and lore-wise, Bard is the largest champion in all of League.
That's true. Only almost matched, kind of, by Aurelion Sol, but that depends on how you argue Bard. Bard is so incomprehensible in a way, right?
Random facts with Weaver casters.
Well, a very obvious fact is that unfortunately Mystiques did miss the Bard ultimate. It's hard to hit on a Corki, right? I mean, Corki is so mobile. Goku respecting the potential counterplay, right? As Weaver goes for the insane play on one side of the map. Purdue was, sorry, not Purdue, that was our opponent yesterday. As unfortunately, looks like Cumberland's mid laner will go down here. Corki unfortunately being dove between his tier 2 and tier 3, and Weaver will pick up another tier 2.
And you saw some fun little light show as a ghoul that was being targeted jumps towards and takes the tower shot. But Goku here, now fighting into Fiji. It's not great for Fiji because he has magic resist to try to deal with the maximum HP magic damage that York does. Goku's 100% AD damage.
And we were picking up a tower in the mid lane as they were threatening a potential dive. They did end up doing a lot of damage and actually ended up taking a lot more themselves. But now it looks like Fiji may be getting caught out here as Mystiques has respawned and is running back out. And I just walked down, actually hasn't needed to respawn. The Q does not end up connecting for the stun, but does slow for a lot. So they will force out Cho'Gath's flash and decide that that's enough.
Tao here in the bot side now, gonna find TH3, be annoying, use some blast cones, get some vision down. Has to be careful though, does not have maiden. Sendy going crazy, unfortunately, with the Wukong coming here. We'll trade it 1-for-1, but that's for a flash and ultimate. And Mystiques is hunting down Cho'Gath. Usually it's the other way around. The Cho'Gath hunts down the support, not the support hunting down the Cho'Gath.
It's Mystiques on Bard. What can you say about it, man? I mean, you have to expect it at this point, right? I'm beginning to condition myself to say that at all times, whether Mystiques is the strongest champion on the Rift or not, Mystiques is the strongest champion on the Rift. I don't know how he does it.
I mean, for those of you who joined us yesterday, he fell so far behind on Poppy and still made the most ridiculous plays in existence because Poppy.
Yeah, that's a little bit on Poppy also, as well as being Mystique's skill. But I just love to see Mystiques on these very clever engaged champions, right? These champions that can find goofy angles and really convert them into a game-winning play.
Things slowing down a little bit. Weaver will go ahead and take the Rift Herald. That, because of the towers and the 3 kills, Weaver does have the feats of strength. So they are just starting to run away with the game like my good friend Odd Koala has mentioned. But by no means is Cumberland out of this fight. We've seen it before. Things can turn around so quickly.
trying to threaten out a potential barbecue to force Mel to use her reflect. We'll be very patient with it. There, the reflect comes out now, so it actually might be a bit too forced from Weaver. A fully stacked tower hit Sendy twice there. The second hit was not necessary, but still, it would have been a lot of damage even if Sendy had tried to escape with a potential dash. So just not a great play from Weaver, overforcing a bit too much on one of the safest champions in the game, Mel.
And maybe I just cast or cursed it because I simply said, you know, they're not out of it till the final game. But Weaver going to counter here. Nami going to be forced to flash. That is just so much damage. Teleport from this Mel coming in. They want to get rid of this Maiden. Will go ahead and do so, as Maiden, unfortunately, going to be picked on, going to be knocked up, going to be bubbled. And Weaver going to see what they can do about maybe taking this dragon. Going to pop a Rift Herald to dissuade things. With Mystique's here, though, possibly can do some things, as the battering Shelly gonna be used here. The clone gonna go through the turn enough to get the damage down. Mystique's will go down, sacrificing his life to get a support for support kill. But with Cho'Gath here, that is double smite compared to just you. But the amount of damage coming in from Weaver is insane. Mel in a little bit of trouble here. Gonna go ahead. Unfortunately, Goku will die. But Sendy now unleashed. The solar binding gonna come through, do enough, but the ultimate from Mel, not enough to get what needs to happen done.
You trying to clean up a couple more of these kills. Mel just barely surviving, but I think they might have Reflect up at this point. They land a beautiful root, and actually, Corki gets a little bit too overconfident. Doesn't quite have the range that Mel does. Meanwhile, there's a Wukong sneaking around in the fight, managed to escape and survive. The Herald looks like it did actually end up crashing into a tower as well. I love to see that engage Herald play. One of my favorite parts about new Herald. The understanding that, hey, this thing knocks up any champion it hits for a while, right? I mean, it's a frustrating engage duel, and you can't deal with it. You can't, like, CC it like you would a champion. He's like, it's just going to run through. You have to one-shot it, and Herald is tanky, man. So a great play in the long run from Weaver. That being said, it was a fairly close fight overall. As I mentioned, Cumberland doing a lot at Deathbaka, but they're still fairly strong in fights.
Unfortunately, this Cho'Gath might be in trouble here, but they simply get the tower. You're going to be stunned up. That's a lot of teleports coming in, but Sendy is here. The Bard ultimate locking them down, and unfortunately, I think that's all she wrote. Sendy getting a little precarious here, doing the best he can, but will be taken down. But Yu is here in the wings, gets the root off onto the Corki. The knockup will get eaten by Cho'Gath. I didn't realize he was a vegetarian.
That's a good bit, actually. I haven't thought about that before. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of damage, all things considered. So I'm fairly impressed with how this game has turned out. Honestly, Cumberland doing a lot in these fights. They're 10,000 gold down nearly, and still doing a decent amount.
You're never out of a game until the Nexus explodes. Like we've said, for those of you who watched Worlds, you realize the first game with KT versus T1 looked so lost for T1 until it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I always believe it's possible, right? I really have been converted, especially recently. That being said, a 505 Yorick is scary, but Tao has not died yet, and it only continues to get more and more frightening. In terms of scaling Deathbaka, how do you feel about these compositions? Because my instinct would say Weaver, but Mel is such a unknown quantity to me, it feels like. I feel like she scales so well, I just don't know off the top of my head.
The issue with Mel is that she's really good, but if you can get onto her and just one-shot her, that's her issue, is that she needs to be supported. She needs to hit these long-range things. But Yorick's going to end the game one way or the other. Do you send your Mel to deal with him? Because we've seen the Cho'Gath try to do it, but Cho'Gath isn't doing great into it, because you simply send one other player and Cho'Gath dies, and then what do you do?
Mystique's punished for their crimes a bit there, unfortunately. 07, my friend. It was a nice attempt at Vision, I assume. I'm not quite sure what happened. We just saw the tail end of it. Now, that being said, Weaver deciding to make a play on the other side of the map, saying, hey, take your objective bounty, take your tier 1 tower. We are more than happy to get Nauticon. We value that way more, especially with the experience leads already being what they are. Yu is 4 levels ahead of this Wukong. He's about to have level 3 ultimate. Wukong just got level 2.
And not only does it give the experience, which isn't... I mean, look at this. Mystique's is almost the same level as the enemy jungler. I'm sorry, Corki, you don't have enough dashes to get away from that. The Nami being forced to flash. Mel getting engaged on here. A flash over the solar binding, perfectly done to get the kill for Sendy. And the slow, not going to hit onto Nami by Batao. Things start to slightly slip away from Phoenix, as you actually will get killed in the jungle by the Wukong.
Nani manages to escape using the wave at the last second. And it looks like Yu was probably caught off guard from the Wukong crossing over. So the Wukong still has a good amount of damage. I mean, you can see the build. No Cleaver, no Trinity Force as we usually see, but a lot of sustained damage on this Wukong. A good long-term fighter.
Jace, though, going to continue to get stronger and stronger. Has 3 items. Really just going to hurt.
Yeah, I'm excited about this game state in all honesty. Yes, we were up 8,000 gold, but they're still making a little bit of chaotic plays, a little bit too much overforced. In fact, maybe we'll see it again here. Mystiques has vision on the jungler. I think that Cumberland is aware of this, but I don't know. Yeah, it looks like a lot of members running up here, so they probably know. Worth mentioning, I would say quite well. I like the York build this game from Vital. It's a little bit unique. I feel like I don't see Stridebreaker built third often, but I like it, especially against these more mobile, fast champions, these long-range engaged characters like your Wukong who can go in, but also the safety from Corki and Mel. If you land a Stridebreaker, it doesn't matter if they dash out or root you, they're still really, really slow.
It also helps with his wave clear. Usually you'll see them go with Titanic Hydra, but now York doesn't have to use mana to clear waves.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's a lot of wave clear that helps out, and the utility much better than a Titanic Hydra. Titanic Hydra is usually more offense, more damage, but if you just need to be helpful to your team, right, if the enemy team is slippery and quite frustrating to deal with, you might as well have utility. TH3 in an interesting position, knowing that Weaver's probably doing the Drake, but doesn't know the exact help because there is no ward on it, so will not be able to find the window to steal. In fact, kind of gives up on it there, understandably so. Looks like Cumberland is playing to scale. I mean, you can see this Corki hasn't been in a fight or anywhere near Weaver's members for minutes.
And it kind of makes sense. He hasn't had the best of the games, been kind of picked on, especially by you, visited a lot. And Goku just simply going to crash down on him frequently, being very frustrating, very annoying. Vici doing pretty well for himself on the Shogath, farming quite nicely, doing what he can to be useful to his team.
Yeah, honestly, Cumberland's starting to scale very well. We talked about the scaling, and I said in general, I feel like Weaver tends to scale better. But technically, Cumberland does have that infinite scaling in Cho'Gath. Ooh, the Stridebreaker doing a lot there. You can see the value of it immediately. But maybe a bit off a little bit more than they can chew, did Vital. They're quite squishy, all things considered. So a huge shutdown over to Corki. They've scaled for long enough. They've decided, I've got just enough damage to fight it. And meanwhile, a teleport going to the top side. Goku having to peel back. Weaver has pushed up a lot. And they've suddenly found themselves unable to continue to push without a lot of pressure. The composition that Cumberland has a good amount of safe wave clear, right? And it's starting to punish Weaver a lot. They're clawing back into the game, Cumberland. 6,000 down now. That's not that bad.
It's really looking quite good for them, but Weaver does Baron really freaking quick. Nami getting chunked out from the Slurkle.
The problem I'd say with Weaver's Baron is that the way Zyra likes to do Baron is use R at the beginning of it to empower all the plants and try and one-shot it. So you can see Yu has an ultimate currently, but you can't do a Baron safely against a Mel. Mel's range is long enough to poke you in the Baron pit while she's on the other side of the wall safely, right? That's just not something you can do. I don't think you can get away with trying to do the ultimate tech this game. He needs it to keep his team safe.
Though once he finishes this death cap, that might be a different story.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, once you finish Death Cap, Zyra can probably just solo Baron on her own under no threat, right? It's just terrifying. So now, you probably send Vital to a side lane, right? Let Vital do their silly side lane split pushing that York tends to do, and you can threaten a Baron at any moment.
I mean, Yu is almost Flame Horizon TH3. That is not a great feeling in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like they have been really, really, really far ahead the entire game here. You can see, still hovering around the Baron, both Mystiques and Vital in the side lane, as I called out. I think Weaver does understand this play, right? If the entirety of Cumberland is worried about the Baron rush, they're just going to lose so much of their base to the two split pushers, I suppose, this game. Maybe that's why he didn't go Hullbreaker. Maybe because he knew that Vital would want to be, Mystiques would want to be with Vital for a lot of the game.
Also, interesting thought is that Maiden is up, and so is Teleport. If they send someone to deal with it, Vital teleports in, leaves Maiden bot.
And there's that member that is there to deal with it. Worth mentioning, Corki does have teleport as well, so he can still join fights. But Vital, not that afraid of it, right? The moment they land that E, they can follow it up with a Stridebreaker and maybe just dive. They know that the W is down for Corki. The Valkyrie is not up. Unfortunately, in the mid lane, Sendy being engaged on has already used the dash, forced to flash away, but it don't think will be enough. Mel with the insane range will pick it up. So it's up to Weaver having to make the side lane play now. A great engage from Mystiques and Batal. They need to be able to kill the Cho'Gath, but Cho'Gath can kill members surprisingly easily, right? He's walking up, not afraid. He knows that it's so close to being within range. Looks like Mystiques has to flash as well. Insane side lane play from Weaver that they escape barely with their lives. But meanwhile, folks, remember what I mentioned? The threat? Oh man, it's been really hard to do actually. I think the Baron changes a while back, now that I'm realizing it, probably deny this play from happening. Oh, and a sudden turnaround, an insane play. I love to see that happen. A crazy play, and Goku was getting a top lane, decides instead to teleport in to back up the team because they know if they win this fight, they should be able to convert it into a Nexus. Can Weaver push it in?
Yeah, unfortunately for the side of Cumberland, a simple cheeky York in the bush is worth a dead Mel and Nami.
Wow, what an insane sequence of plays. I thought Weaver was really on the back foot. I thought maybe the Baron rush would work. Still no death cap completed on you. That might be the difference. And there's an insane play from Weaver. They have to be a little careful. Their wave's starting to thin. They've got just enough to go in. A crazy play and then flash out maybe? That was a very odd sequence, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the members of Cumberland coming up soon, but not soon enough. Weaver will take a game one if they have a little bit less fun. Okay, they're going to start hitting the Nexus now. You goes for the flash play. I like it at the last second, trying to one-shot. The Reflect does a ton of damage back, but it doesn't matter. The Nexus falls. Weaver up 1-0 in the series.
We hope to see you shortly for Game 2.
And welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of our NECC Best of 3 playoffs, where Weber State is up against Cumberland Phoenix, and you're joining us after a very intense Game 1 that ultimately Weber ended up being the victors in.
Yes, we are very excited about that. We're hoping to go for a nice 2-0 as we are going to get into the draft here. As you can see, it is Fearless, so those champions will not be played again as things are already going out pretty spicy. One thing about Fearless is it's almost always the exact same bands, at least in the first stage. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Scion, Galio, and there's the Nidalee again, band away. Kiana, Belveth, Lucian. Yep.
Crazy. It's almost like you're psychic, or you just understand how Fearless works. As you say, you're 100% correct. But now we get to the interesting things, right? Because obviously, it is Fearless, so now the picks must be different from last game. Strong mid laners up for Weber, strong junglers. I know Weber likes junglers, and AD carries. Varus is up, and I know Senji really does like that. But instead, an Orianna locked in.
We saw Goku play it to great effect yesterday. Was very powerful, very strong. Not surprised to see it come out here again as the immediate answer in a Rise.
I mean, this is just the world's mid lane stuff, right? We saw this a ton. Rise is the answer to Orianna. You really lose lane pace, especially with the sustained nerfs that were happened afterwards. But boy, you outscale her. Boy, do you.
So what does Weber decide to do because you get outscaled? Well, first, Cumberland's going to pick up an Ezreal. They want to be a little bit more safe. Even though Mel was pretty safe and did some damage, they want to make sure that they can be okay. What does Weber decide to pick up?
I've got time to think. I imagine usually you answer an AD carry here, right? Obviously, you have Orianna, so you probably want a jungler and an AD carry, so you're not just getting completely banned out. But we'll see. We've got a bunch of options here. And Mbessa, actually. So they would rather have the strong blind top than match things, because that means they're going to probably... Well, they could pick AD carry here, and then the enemy players could pick top.
Well, it's also... Rise is immobile. You hit a public execution on him. Doesn't matter that Orianna got outscaled. And Mbessa goes in with a public execution, has the ball on her, then boom, shockwave.
That's a good point. Yeah, so you don't necessarily need a hyper-engaged jungle like a Jarvan or something, right? Well, that being said, it looks like Weber will actually go for it anyway. The Xin Zhao here. Okay, they're going to say they like the jungler after all.
You know, maybe it's too soon, but I thought it was pronounced Sahim.
I suppose so. Coming soon, actually. I believe just 4 days we'll have Zahin. I'm very excited about it.
Now, remind me, I believe that technically the way the things run here is that when new champions come out, players can't play them until the patch after they're released.
So that's how it's worked in the past. I know sometimes recently that hasn't been the case, but I imagine in playoffs they will say no Zahin. So don't worry about that, folks. I don't believe we'll have to worry about 1,200 AD too soon.
For those of you who are wondering what the heck we're talking about, look it up. It's crazy. Trundle going to be the answer, though, into the Xin Zhao. Very classic pick into him. You steal the AD. You can just bash him with your Ice Club. Great things. Though Xin Zhao is still very powerful, very strong. We'll look to avoid the Trundle early, get into other lanes, and make things happen. As the Kai'Sa and Cassante getting banned away. Cassante makes sense. Weber doesn't want to let Cumberland simply pick a super tank now that Trundle is not an option.
Whoa, the Karma ban here catches me off guard. Honestly, I feel like you could have blinded that if you're Cumberland Phoenix. I guess you could have. You do need to worry about Weber maybe drafting a very strong lane that could punish that. I think there are lanes that outpoke Ezreal Karma, but not many. I feel like that would have been a great duo. So, little surprise, but overall, not completely. I imagine we'll see another ban here from Weber in the top side. Strong things into Mbessa. I know a lot of people favor the Renekton. Okay, and yep, there it is. I know there's some other matchups that people don't mind. Like, I've seen Quinn apparently do well, but I doubt we'll see Quinn.
Quinn just hasn't been good for so long. It's rough, right? Needs to really do something to help her out. What else would you play into Mbessa? I know that Ornn's okay because you can just kind of sustain tank. Scion's been banned, so that's not an option. We'll see what Cumberland decides to pull out. As actually, this could work. Singe doesn't want to simply sit and auto the Mbessa. He'll simply run past her. Let her hippity hoppity all she wants. You can't move when Singe throws a sticky goo on you.
I mean, that's frightening. And also, I mean, none of the members of Weber really stop Sin super well right now. So Weber has to be careful about what AD carry they draft, right? I mean, a Singe can easily speed past your front line, flip an AD carry, and kill them immediately. So we'll see what happens. Okay, this would be a decently safe one. You've got the buffering of the rocket jump to get out of that, maybe. And okay, Weber will lock it.
I think the important thing is you can't exactly buffer the rocket jump because the goo grounds you. What it is good at is that you buster shot Singed away, gives you enough time to walk away from the goo and then jump.
Good call, actually. Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. You still need some slow resist because the Goose slows unbelievably. But yeah, that's a really good point. Now, Weber needs to pick their support here. A couple different champions they could go for. And the Lulu, okay, with a hyper carry like Tristana late game with the range, I like to see Lulu, especially when you have Trundle Singe diving on you. Maybe even a Rise Realm.
I mean, why didn't I think of this? Singe running past you, polymorph. No, he's not.
Oh, that's incredibly powerful, actually. Yeah, good point. I like the Lulu here a lot. And technically, it is Mystique's banner in our highlight scene. I don't know if any of you have caught that, but during our break test sections, that is what Mystique has chosen as their champion. So last pick here needs to be locked in for Cumberland Phoenix. Let's see what they go for. Oh, Nico support. I like it. It's good long-range poke that can follow up with an Ezreal's poke. It's also really great engage. You can... Oh, they've got the Rise Nico combo. Oh, I hope we get to see it pulled off this game.
I hope we don't, because Weber's not playing it. But I see why you're happy and excited about it. Also, I just need to simply say one thing. Riot, please gut Nico support. Get her back in the mid lane where she belongs. Like, I'm fine with Nico being the way she is, as long as she stays out of my bot lane.
I think there's a couple different ways they could do it, and we have some time to talk about it as there's a small delay getting into the game. Looks like players are just double checking and readying up. But overall, Nico support, the biggest thing you can do, and it's the same thing they did recently with Poppy's support, right? You tune down her base damage and extremely buff the scaling damage. That's all you need to do.
She needs to actually be able to have items level. I think what they did to tune down Poppy was make it so she scales better with levels. Granted, it didn't work because we saw what a menace Mystique's was on Poppy yesterday, and he was level 2 for like, I don't know, half the game.
Yeah, so sometimes Champions Kits are useful, and Nico is one of those, right? Her E-Root is very strong, her R is just incredible, so maybe if you lower the duration on her E-Root, maybe something like that could work.
Also, I think it's one of those things is that I don't play League to have to count. And when Nico's in the game, you all of a sudden go, wait a second, why are there 4 caster minions?
Hey, she could do it in mid lane too. I don't think she'll ever stop doing that. I mean, heck, I've seen Nico jungle sometimes do that to gank. It's just awesome, and honestly, I'm a fan of it. But maybe we'll see it this game. I don't know. Either way, we are ready to jump into game here, folks, so here we go.
As you see, we are loading in, items being bought. The fate of Summoner Rift lies in the balance as teams will decide what is going to happen. I do like the frosty kind of feeling coming from Cumberland. Very good skin choosing. Faker-esque Rise skin here.
Yeah. Faker-esque. I see what you did there. I mean, I really do think, despite everything, Weebu might struggle with scaling here. Singe scaling, Ezreal scaling, and Rise are menacing. And while Orianna and Tristana and Abessus certainly are very good scaling, I think the team composition that Cumberland has put together is very good. It's just a matter of, can they manage to win this game? Because if they don't, they'll be out of this series. Remember, it's only a best of 3, folks.
It is a best of 3, but we do also have to think about it. There is the lower bracket. We'll talk about that if we get there. But you gonna find TH3. Gonna lose this early just because the chomp from... Why am I spacing the troll's name? Trundle is just so unbelievably annoying. The poison trail from Singe doing work. Gonna be very annoying. We'll see what Ambessa Batau is able to do on the Madada top laner.
I wonder if we'll see Singe go for a cheeky proxy this game. I know it's a very common strategy on the champion, and he does it very well, so it makes sense. He can escape pretty easily, flips you away, gets a bunch of move speeds from his passive, and just runs.
I think that if he does do that, it's actually okay for Batau, because he doesn't really want to fight into the Singed, and an Ambessa that free farms is a scary Ambessa.
Yeah, I mean, if you go even, sure, Singe scales really well, but the champion on Weeber I say that scales the best is probably Ambessa, which is nuts because we're seeing a Tristana in this game, and Tristana scales so well.
Here's my question for you. Who builds Serpent's Fang on Cumberland's side?
Well, I think Trundle can. Ezreal absolutely can, by the way. I think Ezreal, like 4th, 5th item, it's not bad. But again, 4th, 5th item's a long time. As Mystique's going for a little bit of a walk up here, I guess he recognizes that Retrozing, the mid laner for enemy team, has a lot of push right now, but looks like they're also going to respect that Rise walking to the other side of the lane that they know their jungler is currently on.
For those of you wondering, what you do is you ward the side your jungler's on. It's great things. Retrozing going to be in a little bit trouble, but Mystique's simply going to run around, and here comes the proxy Singed.
Well, we talked about maybe why it wouldn't happen, but no, Sin says, hey, I don't mind if Mbessa free farms. I value my farm much, much more.
And it's safe. You get the minions. Yeah, you might die to the minions. It happens on Singed frequently as you just get executed. Not getting the cannon, though, that is going to hurt because Mbessa will get her cannon and you don't.
Because the idea is maybe, oh, I'll make it back in time before the cannon dies anyway. It doesn't matter. But Tao can easily just let the cannon walk up too far, stop hitting minions for a while, and let cannon die to a wave. So good play overall for Weeber. You can see there it is dying. So yeah, honestly, net positive for Weeber so far.
Mbessa gonna let the wave crash. Will miss their own cannon, unfortunately mismanaging the damage. Goku trading here with Rise does have the advantage in mana, but does not have the advantage in health. Well, I say that, but there is a shield that can happen, and now with that being proc, going pretty well. You looking maybe can do something, but Trundle doing some really cheeky things, not getting put nearly as far behind as he was in the first game.
Yeah, I think they're much happier with the matchup as well, right? A lot of the early matchup that was rough last game is that Wukong can't really do much to Zyra. We highlighted it, right? Wukong needs to farm to 6, Zyra's just useful immediately. Inversely, this game, Trundle is a menace at all stages of the game. And actually, so he's taking a lot of damage, will be forced to polymorph the Ezreal. Might still be able to do a lot, but with the root there coming out from Nico just barely. Then he's forced to flash forward to make the trade even. They do successfully get the kill, which resets the rocket jump and successfully escapes them out. So they need a lot of trouble with Rise can just easily walk down. Does not have their flash already, so I think just need to walk into the enemy jungle and hope to maybe get an execute long time away.
Yeah, I think, though, 8 seconds will have passed. Sendy going to be able to execute successfully unless Retrowing decides to flash. But does not have the range to hit the W.
At least gets the experience. I know that sounds weird, but genuinely it's not bad, right? Otherwise he would have gotten nothing for the long play. Top laners smacking each other around a bit, but with a Trundle on the way to go for a gank, maybe Batao needs to be a bit careful here.
Will not see them coming in, gets grounded, and unfortunately Batao probably gonna die here. Does try to go for the kill, unfortunately will use his flash as well. You gonna try to salvage things. I'm not sure if they will be able to. And hey, isn't that a Trundle in the top lane? What's he doing mid lane?
I think there's a bit of a Nico gank potentially happening here, but we'll watch the junglers fight first. Looks like you finally found the window where he barely wins, but even so, almost lost at the end of the day. Meanwhile, the play in mid lane, we were trying to do a lot, but Rise absolutely wins this in this health difference. Mystique has to play the long game, really prevent anyone from getting on top of Goku. Goku still wants to play this at the end. They know Rise has no flash, and Goku has the agency of playmaking. They will end up losing the fight at the end, though. And overall, Weeber kind of on the back foot here, down a little bit of gold, but fights and ganks early, clearly going in the favor of the enemy team.
Things gonna slow down here just a little bit. Sendy gonna be able to farm. Eventually, though, with his passive draw a bead, increasing his range, he's gonna be very frustrating. Goku in trouble here, does have the flash, but will not use it quite yet. Very sparing, being able to get the speed up from his W onto himself to get away, with Mystiques there to just be annoying. No, Mbessa coming down will hit the public execution into the polymorph. That is a dead Scroll Man. Unfortunately, Rise, you cannot rise above the public execution.
Batao being a little bit caught out here by the sneaky Nico, but an incredible timing, just barely hitting 6, I believe, Goku. Shockwave, Command Shockwave hitting the 2 members that survived of Cumberland. Well played to Weeber. Clearly, Batao says, hey, the game's not going too well, but I can be the playmaker.
That's a 3-1 Mbessa. That is scary. I mean, I do like it. As a top laner, I have nightmares because I've been the one that's fed up Mbessa before, and you get the typical GG top gap at the end. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Singe, no slouch here as well, though. They got 2 plates in that exchange, and will be walking down to get a bunch of gold. But if they do die here, it would be bad for them. Right now, they kind of traded even despite the 2 to 3 kills Batao got. Unfortunately, this should be a very easy kill for Weeber eventually. Just going to take a little bit. PG going to be very sneaky. Has actually the potion. There it is. And the flash up. Will they choose to go for it? Might be able to flip you here. There is the flip. Needs to flash the wall, though. You has a flash of their own, so I think they're just going to give their life. Still almost ended up winning that fight. Really close. The Triumph just being what keeps you alive.
Triumph and the Xin Zhao passive, and without the Faded Ashes early, it's just not enough damage. Now he has it. Would have been the playmaking difference. But dying there feels so bad. You lose this wave, and Mbessa gets further and further ahead. Granted, Singe is doing really well in farm.
Yeah, honestly, the Singe is scary. Every time I see him fight, he almost wins, even when he definitely should not be at all. So far, Weber now starting to pull away with the game. Only 1,000 gold up, and this game feels like Cumberland really can fight a lot more. Their champions do a lot of damage, a lot of great skirmish potential.
And a little bit of a cheeky engage coming in here. A heal used from Mystiques to get out, do a little bit of combat. Top lane, things going back to normal. Void Grubs being spawned. Hey, there was no lane swap these last 2 games. I'm so happy.
Me too. I'm sick of it, folks. I'll say it. I'm sick of it. Rise being collapsed on here by a very strong ambassador should have nowhere to go. I mean, there's no CC yet, except for that command Shockwave beautifully placed on top of the entire Realm Warp. Nowhere for that Rise to go. That being said, with Shockwave down, ambassador a little bit low, if Yu doesn't get here soon, they're going to have to give Grubs. Yu, that being said, Yu is definitely sprinting here. Looks like Cumberland Phoenix is going to respect it and back away.
They simply say, let's not give them all of them, because if we take at least one, the Void Grub, the Void Might, does not spawn. But in the bot lane, Sendi's simply going to go ahead and kill the Neeko. He hates Neeko as much as I do. True Shot Barrage, though, going to instantly kill them, and going to be turned around by a barrier from the Ezreal. Very strong turnaround from Ezreal here. You, though, will go ahead and collect the 2 Void Grubs, which does count towards feats of monster slaying.
Great play from the Ezreal Suki, just knowing that, hey, they actually can't burst me down fast enough. I can get the True Shot Barrage off, and that is plenty of damage. So a double kill over to the Ezreal, 3-0 now. Very, very strong scoreline. I think they might be the pressure carrier of Cumberland Phoenix now. They can do a lot in these fights.
It will require them to successfully manage their spacing. Mystique's going to be annoying here, get some wards down, and the Tao doing a little bit of cheeky. Ooh, unfortunately, the public execution gonna miss. With the insanity potion being popped, that is no healing for the Ambessa, and that is going to be a shutdown over to Singed. The Tao trying to play Singed game, unfortunately, does not pay off.
Ooh, a little bit of a mismanage there from the pillar. Tries to go for the flash play, but you happen to be in the area out of vision. However, Neeko also here, which means that Weaver definitely on the back for this. Flash out from you, trying to do a lot. We'll be able to heal off Neeko, but there's the flash. It's just enough. Now Trundle healing just barely enough and will take down Goku. Unfortunately, a play from Weaver that they tried to set up, having you hiding out of vision, knowing that Cumberland would go in, but Cumberland had too many members.
Yeah, I think they accounted for the Trundle and the Rise, but the Neeko showing up changed things. Granted, the bot lane now for Weaver going to do what they can with this explosive charge, doing a lot of damage onto this tower, getting plates, being very strong. Trundle needs to be a little bit careful here. Incendi definitely could kill them, but will be playing very safe as Mystique's just taking Mystic Shot after Mystic Shot. The True Shot Barrage will go wide.
While we have a little bit of a second thing, I would like to highlight the public execution from Battalion top lane that we saw. I do think that was just to be unstoppable. If he had hit it on top of Singed, it would have absolutely placed him in a tower and he would have guaranteed died. I like the idea to deny the flip, but unfortunately, I just don't think it mattered. It was a cool idea, though. I will respect it.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage coming down in. That is a W into a Q. Just a lot of annoying damage. The root coming in gonna mean that Sendy takes a lot of damage.
It's Ezreal's 3-0, and we're feeling it, folks. Mystique's taking a ton of damage there. Yu's in the area, so maybe they can deny a dive, but remember that Neeko has Flash and Pop Blossom. We were doing what they can to try and survive, but Yu hits the Mystic Shot, doing a lot, but not enough. Remember that Yu has no Flash and barely has the ultimate. It will go in. I think it'll be enough. The Rise Warp coming in. They have to stall for time for the Realm Warp. Can it be enough? With Rise being here, the Root should be able to land on Yu, but no, he's walking just barely far enough. No, there's the Root. Just barely. Rise will not be able to save his teammate. However, Trundle on the way down. I think ultimately, the longer this play goes on, the worse it will be from Weaver. Rise snipes out Mystique's, and a pillar to deny Yu's ability to walk up, forced to dash forward, which is not bad, but they lose a lot, and the ultimate comes out from Trundle just barely to assist that kill. But Tao is run down and might be able to snipe out a Rise if he's not careful. Looks like they want to go for it, dashing forward. If they can hit public execution, flash public execution goes nowhere. And now Trundle should be able to do a lot. A Root going in, but Ambessa has a lot of dashes. The pillar being very annoying, and a play that does not go in Weaver's favor. A great long-term fight in the bottom side from Cumberland Phoenix.
You know, it's funny. Ambessa's ult is the opposite of a Bard Q and a Nautilus Q, where it sometimes looks like that hit, but didn't. Maybe this is spectator view. It looked like it clipped Rise's scroll, but who am I to speak?
Well, I think a little bit is that like you said, the public execution hitbox is a little funky, but also Rise's hitbox is not where those scrolls are, surprisingly. Hitbox is squarely on his feet, so just barely not connecting there. But bro, Weaver now on the back foot, down by a lot of gold, and a first tower gain to the bottom side that I think, no, not quite defeats yet. I believe objectives is what it comes down to. Meanwhile, play here on the bottom side, Weaver going in for something, but it's not working. They're just going to stack up the Q on the clone. You fully stacked his knockup, I believe, but it's just being ranged down to CC. Insane amount of healing from his passive and that Sundered Sky that's completed in his inventory. So Weaver goes for a play. It does not work out, but they will survive.
And scaling at the end of the day comes down to what Weaver might have to do. They're trying to make these plays and not getting what they need to on these early pick champs. Sendy does have the Youngtail Wild Arrows completed, so we'll be able to do things. Polymorph coming down onto the Ezreal to be annoying, to stop him from doing things. But the difference is, Rise has a completed Rod of Ages, while Goku does not have his item finished.
Maybe a play cooking up here on the bottom side and the top side at the same time. No, you walking down saying, no, we want the play on the bottom side here. Trundle absolutely caught up. Gonna full burst the Ambessa, trying to do a lot. Ambessa has too much shielding. I don't think this is worth it. No public execution, so they can't lock it down. And there's the collapse from Weaver. This would be a big kill, right? A lot of tempo gains from this. And no one was here in time to make the major play. A good collapse from Weaver. You in a lot of danger, trying to get his passive and stack his Q. He's maybe considering going back in, but the Singe has roamed all the way down. A great play from him, trying to go in. A public execution just barely comes off cooldown. A great play from Batao, but it's not enough. Weaver not winning these fights, absolutely. Goku choosing to stay on the top side, doesn't have teleport, but did not roam down either. Unfortunately, Mystique should be going down to a very speedy Singed here as well. 11-13 the kill scoreline, but very much so in Cumberland Phoenix's favor.
Yeah, and it looks like they're probably going to be able to do a huge chunk of damage onto this mid lane turret. Won't be able to take it quite yet. Going to take a tower shot in response. Goku going to go ahead and back and not getting exactly what he wants. This mid lane turret probably going to go down here very soon. This Singe has become quite the menace and quite annoying. Unfinished Leandries, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, the Singe pick doing exactly what we feared it may, right? Running through to the back line, flipping people around and doing just a bit too much damage. With both Singed Q and Leandries, it's so difficult to deal with.
Things gonna slow down here a little bit. There are pinks coming out on this top side saying we don't want to give this tower. But Tao gonna do the best he can with the Rise showing up. Won't get much more than that. But there are a lot of pings. There is a U and a Mystiques here in waiting. Rise sensing it, wants to back, wants to get out. Send back the Singed.
This might be scary though. I mean, I don't think they can dive the Singed, but without Flash, Ghost, and R, it's possible. And this Singed has a 250 gold bounty. If they can pull this off, this would be a huge play from Weaver. They have to do it quickly. The wave is already thinning out. Well, they're just going to go for tower and then try and make the play on him. I like this idea. They will get it, but Singed knows that he has got plenty of time to escape.
Yeah. And they're going to give Dragon in the meantime, so that is going to be another thing, another monster over to the side of Chamberlain. Weaver not able to really capitalize on this and do anything else, as there's just a Singed in their jungle.
And so is a Wolf as well, actually, as a Pop Blossom goes in. I imagine Goku's not long this world, but that being said, an insane amount of defensiveness from Weaver comes out. TH3 flashed forward, and it did not work. Then he gets the Rocket Jump out and a Realm Warp spent to try and help out, but it's far too late. Meanwhile, look at the top side. Mbessa is slowly going to get pressure by catching that wave. You can see a ping coming out as well, but Tao in a good position, and because Singed had to leave it, I mean, they might be able to do a lot. The knockup, I think, coming up soon from you. There it is. They don't win this fight in the long run. However, they're not alone. Here comes their top laner. A beautiful play. Mbessa does a lot of damage, but it's not enough. He's able to pop the ultimate and run out using his passive. Can we choose to go back in? You know, with Trundle, I think it's way too greedy. They're going to try and go for it, though. A nice ultimate Crescent Slash from the Zental. They're going to try and get at least a huge shutdown. Mbessa picks it up, and now with Mystiques here, I think Weaver could turn this around. Do they choose to go for it? No, not with Rise on the way. So doing a lot of damage. Maybe they turn onto it. Man, this is a skirmishing fight. My goodness. Mystiques goes down, and maybe Rise will too. A force flash out, and the moment they do, Batao knows they can flash to safety as well, but maybe not all the way out yet. A blast cone that takes TH3 really far in. What a crazy fight.
It's just been back and forth all game long. It is insane. Sendy going to get stopped by the True Shot Barrage, but Goku doing Goku things. He's going to get a turret for Weaver in the bot side. We'll have to get out here really quickly, as there is a troll running right at him. I don't think he gets out, unfortunately. TH3 does not have his ultimate, but may not need it. Goku does a crap ton of damage. He's used most of his burst, though, and that is just simply Orianna passive. But he won't get out. Rise is here.
I think that's a Nico, actually. I'm pretty sure it is. Rise, I think, just took the base. And there it is. You can see it. The Nico doing cheeky things. Oh, they managed to find Goku. Goku's got nowhere to go. But a nice bit of fancy footwork, a redemption coming in from Mystiques, and that might be enough to escape. It is a Pop Blossom used and a kill gained. Meanwhile, on the top side, using a great position, Trundle's still dead for a while, and that means a Herald over to Weaver. Weaver's finding these long-term side lane plays that are really working in their favor.
It is just a game of inches at this point, as it is back and forth constantly.
This is so exciting. I think this game's gonna go the distance, folks. Gold functionally dead even, but right now, Drake's the biggest deal right now. 1,000 gold in Cumberland's favor, not big. 2 Drakes? That's huge.
Also, this next Drake is Feats of Strength.
Wow, we've come this far. No one has gotten it, actually. Good call out. Macau really starting to struggle with dealing with the Singe at this point. Look at the amount of armor he has. Dead Man's Plates who can't be slowed easily, which means catching him is almost impossible now for Weaver, right? They have to do aggressive CC with Polymorph or Knockup, but he's still so fast.
Very fast, very annoying, just doesn't want to engage with you, except on his terms, obviously. That's the way Singed works. Is have you remembered that shirt with the meme, one does not simply chase Singed?
It's rule number 1 of League of Legends. You learn it and you go, I wonder what that means. And then you play a bit of League and you go, oh, I understand what it means now. Singed is so slippery and will just kill you as you run at him. Never worth it. Goku in maybe a good position here, but will choose to reveal himself. The Drake coming up in a minute, so it's a long ways off. And meanwhile, it looks like Cumberland will choose to make the plays in the side lane, get a lot of resources. However, maybe a bit of a play cooking up here in the middle lane. You in a good position. Will barely reveal himself now. Oh, the Polymorph isn't quite fast enough. Ezreal is able to buffer his E just barely. But it's the Herald in the mid tower, the play that they're after.
Yeah, this is going to be really big, lots of damage, and it opens up the map for Weaver. Getting rid of this tower is huge. Ambessa going to get engaged on, but with Mystiques here and the Wild Growth could be turning around. Ambessa doing what he can. The ultimate's not coming through, but the shielding is insane. Trundle getting kited, and now the Rise coming in with the NECC Pop Blossom. Does happen, but doesn't hit who they want. Unfortunately, Goku is going to be getting hit. Will Phase Rush out, but the Flash is going to secure his fate from this Ezreal.
Wow, a crazy play. We finally got to see it, and it kind of worked out, right? It did connect with Goku, and a flash over the wall from NECC. Beautiful double hit on the root. An insane play. And just like that, folks, Cumberland Phoenix really pulls away with the game.
It is unfortunate there for Weaver that things went the way they did, but things still scaling. Tristana's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
So I'm going to be real here because you talked about the shielding. Weaver shielded for way longer and almost survived when they shouldn't have, right? So we talked about Serpent Sting at the beginning of this game. I'm going to talk about a weird tech I've seen unironically some people do. Sometimes AP champions that have an insane amount of ability to apply effects can go Serpent's Fang. I've seen Maokai jungles with Leandries put saplings in bushes that have also Serpent's Fang, but unfortunately we'll have to talk about that in a minute. Is you going in, trying to get a kill onto the Trundle just before the ultimate used that they want to turn it around, especially with the oh, good shockwave, a bait in. Unfortunately, you still goes down, and this is not a great play from Weaver. That being said, Nico doesn't have the Pop Blossom. They don't have the shockwave. A lot of cooldowns down. I think Weaver just needs to cut their losses, go away. Both junglers dead with a Drake alive. Weaver's in a better position, but they're taking too much poke. They stayed for far too long. This Ezreal is 7-1-6 and really understanding and making sure that Weaver feels it.
Yeah, Nico gonna look like the Trundle there for a minute just to try to bait some things out. Ambessa has to go in a little bit, but hops and does funny things. The Pop Blossom being used quickly into the public execution, but unfortunately not enough damage to kill the Nico. That is a double kill over to the Nico, and Mystique's just gonna try to run away, but you can't run away from a Singed even with the speed up, unfortunately. I am sorry. Sendy was bot lane farming, and this is going to be a dragon for Cumberland and Feats.
Yeah, Weaver's running into a new problem now that I should be mentioning. Look at the amount of AD damage they have. And now look at the amount of armor the enemy team composition is building, right? 2 Dead Man's Plates, 3 plated steel caps already. I mean, Sendy's going to have to do damage late game, but Rise, sorry, not Rise, both Xin Zhao and Ambessa not going to be able to do a lot. A flash forward from the Rise, trying to do another flash forward as, man, Weaver's members just can't stay alive. This game looks like it's starting to become a done deal. Of course, the game's never fully over, even as we said last game, but it's just so hard for Weaver's composition to play the game.
Especially with Feats now, those upgraded boots mean so much. So much extra armor, an AD shield. It's rough.
Yeah, I think Weber's hope now is what Sendy was doing a little bit in that last fight. I think Sendy left, could have made it into the fight in time, but said, no, we don't win these fights. I need time to scale. We all need time to scale. Goku, you're only AP damage, really. So unless you one-shot them, we can't take fights. It's so hard for Mbessa or Xin to do anything, especially with a newly completed Frozen Heart on Nico. Xin needs to get those autos off to get the knockup, and when you can't auto as quickly as you can just die.
I think it's also important that if Goku hits a team-wide shockwave, things go crazy, as they're just gonna go onto the Singed, get as much damage happening, using 2 ultimates to make sure he's down. That is a huge part of Cumberland's team. The Singed pressure is gone. Weber having a little bit of room to start breathing for 40 seconds.
It's not a lot of time, and it doesn't convert into any objective, right? The only objective that would be up next is Baron, but that's 2 minutes away, folks, so it's just a good pick. But it's showing that Weber now starts to have the potential to make those picks, right? The Oriana's starting to do a bit more damage. You can see a needlessly large rod in their inventory, probably, hopefully, close to a death cap.
Yeah, death cap or shadow flame if he can't quite get there. Very good items, very strong. We shall see what ends up happening as cheeky little blast cone usage as Mbessa gets Trundle in the top lane. He overstays, and it's a 3-man dive, and this tower is not long for the world. He's going to sacrifice quite a bit of his own HP to make sure the minions are there, but Cumberland, in return, gonna say, we'll take your mid lane tower. We have a Nico and an Ezreal. We are going to take this. It's going to be very strong, but the fight breaking out in the top lane. Singed is back up. Mbessa and Yu doing what they can. They will get the Trundle. Mbessa having to flash out Batao, leaving Yu to fight for himself. But that is a lot of damage going in. Yu going to do what he can, has to flash out himself, but Singed is now low as well. Batao could go back in and possibly finish him off. They have to back before the rest of Cumberland comes to finish the job.
Ooh, actually they decided to turn around. Ezreal was walking up, decided to go around, but no, he did find the angle, especially because Ezreal turned around. They can't punish it anymore. Weber making their common play they do. When they start losing fights, they do these insane side lane forces. But for once, Cumberland knowing the counter strategy. Just say, hey, we don't care. We're going to push in mid lane. We're going to get a tier 3 tower and a tier 2 and make it far more worthwhile for ourselves.
Setup is starting to come for Baron as it is spawning here in 15 minutes. Weber knows this. They want to get out on the map, get vision down. You can see it is very much a red-sided jungle up and around here as the teleports being expended by both Batao and Goku to get in here ASAP.
They want to force a fight. I don't like this, though. Genuinely, I don't think they have a great window. I know they got a couple cooldowns out of the enemy composition, but do they really think forcing Baron is the right way to go? Look at the 2 frontliners of the enemy composition running up. Wait, hold on. They might be able to do a great shockwave. Means they do get it. They nearly lost it. Left 1 health there for a second. Nico does maybe go down. Yu needs to finish off a heal forced out of them, but they don't have their flash. Looks like they failed maybe flash the wall or tried to go in, but unfortunately there is the damage from Cumberland coming out. This is why I didn't like to see this play. Weaver does not have the damage to fight it. They're going to have to fully run away. They've used all of their cooldowns already. Didn't even force the flash a wall. They got the Baron out, but unfortunately will cost so many members of their team. Wow.
They still do have 3 members, but they are looking to finish this off. Goku gonna get dove. Sendy, not much longer for this world, as the only remaining member with the Baron is going to be Batao, but he decides to try to go in for the Ezreal. This Baron is gone now.
Dude, Mbessa can't use her passive when Sin's ground is there. Didn't even think about that, but she cannot move ever. Oh, I just don't like the play from Weber. I understand the idea, but you have to be able to either take a fight before or after because of the rises in mobility, and it's not worth it. Weber lose so much in the play. They get a bit of gold, sure, but now Baron's off the map and Drake's up in 21. That's a soul that they're going to have to give.
It's a Chemtech soul as well. That is frightening.
Yeah, on a Trundle and a Singed who can get low, get a bunch of that damage reduction and increase damage themselves, that's terrifying.
We'll see if Weber is able to find a way to make this comeback. We all obviously are biased and want it to happen. Rise farming up a storm here, making it crazy. And a death cap almost for Goku. That will change a lot of things. We see how much damage he is doing, but Weber just taking too much of the fight around Baron and not being able to do what they really need to. They should have tried to maybe back out a little bit more. But Cumberland understanding, hey, this tower doesn't save Weber. We can dive them.
I'll be honest, I think maybe, I understand the idea from me, but I would have liked to see it post-death cap, right? I think you called it out. Goku needs to be the big damage dealer now, especially because of the amount of armor coming out. And now with that finally completed, Weaver might be able to win fights despite their lead slipping and slipping. I mean, they had a lead at one point, but 3,000 gold behind. And again, Chemtech Soul, man, that's just rough. On a Trundle with Spirit Visage, and Weaver does not have anti-healing yet.
It's hard to say who should build it. I mean, there's plenty of people. Obviously, you could slot it onto Sendy, but Sendy wants to finish this last. He wants his Lord Dominic's regard. That will make him do so much damage.
Yeah, this is a game where you need it, right? You need that extra damage on armor pen with how much armor the enemy team is building. What a tense game state. Honestly, still could be anyone's game, but Weaver's starting to struggle in terms of their composition being outscaled, not just because of damage, but because of utility. A lot of Weaver's compositions just go in and do damage, and the enemy composition is slippery. They're damage high. They're maybe going to use a shockwave under the Rise, get him really stacking up under tower. Rise chooses to stay in the play, forced to flash away. Sendy only had to use a rocket jump for that, so not a bad sequence of events. But look at everyone else pushing on the side lanes. You can see Trundle going for it, Singed also going for it. Does Trundle win this matchup? I feel like he might be able to with the Spirit Visage.
That's still a lot of damage you saw the Ambessa do. Realistically, Batao only ran away because Singe was there to possibly stop things. As of Riot's going to go ahead and teleport back in. You going to go in onto Ezreal, get a little cheeky damage, but this tower is not long for the world. Neither is Topside's tower, as Weaver is split 3-2 and 3-2. Unfortunately, I don't think Weaver's 2 wins this. Ambessa not going to really do enough damage. The jump in coming, but Singe just a slippery man.
You'd think that Cumberland Phoenix got the Baron with how they're playing. They just know that they're stronger, right? Rise recalls after almost dying, forced to flash away, but immediately teleports back in, says, hey, I'm good. I am by no means afraid. I understand the play from Goku, and obviously it almost worked. They got the flash, right? It's just scary to see Shockwave used like that, because now you know they just can't fight. A lot of pings coming out on the top side right now. It looks like maybe Weaver wants to pull another play like they did earlier, Shadow Batao, and try and go for an insane fight.
We will see what happens. Weaver clearing some vision, being careful, trying to find this in. The Scryer's Broom being used. Mystique's gonna run into a Trundle here. The quick chomp and run will mean nothing else quite happening here. Weaver trying to find the edge here, trying to find their in. Goku on the other side of the map does have teleport and does have shockwave, but that takes time that Weaver might not have.
Wow, I think they did sneak around vision there. Feature's a little bit aware of it, but I don't think aware enough. They have to buffer their CC well, but with Sendy also being here to do damage, I don't think they need to worry about it too much. Sendy's not quite there, though. Oh, just barely unable to finish it. Now he runs out. Here comes the Realm Warp, and this is the problem. The buffered play, they want to be on top of it to stop the Rise, but the Nico denies all of that. Unfortunately, the public execution does not land, and Weaver has overplayed their hand. Goku cannot join in time, has a teleport, but has nothing to be able to do with it. Weaver's play does not pay off by any means. I just don't think they have the ability to make these plays anymore. And it looks like Game 2 will probably be going over to Cumberland Phoenix.
Mix, unless Goku pulls off the most insane shockwave we've ever seen that one-shots the entire team, which I don't think he can because he just doesn't. That's not what Orianna does. Orianna is the setup.
It's possible with the little amount of magic that the enemy team is building, but they're getting to it now. If he's going to hold the game at any point, it's right now because he has to.
Sendy is up in 10. They may be able to hold. Goku clears the wave. Inhibitors are going to go down. Game's not quite over yet, but Weaver just really struggling here in this game. The inhibitor not going down yet.
I mean, even if they do hold, which they successfully have, how do you hold the rest of this game? A Chemtech Soul being 8,000 gold behind. You kind of have to find a play now, push forward, but you can't walk up in an Ezreal like this. He's so safe. He's got so much range. A Spear of Shojin, a Sorelda's Grudge. You just can't keep up with them, and that's the problem Weaver has. They're mostly damage dealers. They're semi-mobile, but not a ton. Compared to the enemy composition, they just can't do much.
Yeah, this Ezreal just raining down fire. Though, gets caught here. Luckily for him, the Singe catching the public execution. Weaver going to keep trying, but the public execution and the shockwave miss into a Pop Blossom. Unfortunately, Weaver not doing what they need to. This Singe just being an absolute menace, running through. The rest of Cumberland coming in with the Realm Warp. The pool going down. Goku unable to do much, as this is going to be it for Weaver. Cumberland coming back and taking this Game 2, bringing us to Game 3 coming here soon. It's more of just a formality at this point.
Yeah, towers won't last long, and we've got an exciting final game in the best of 3. High stakes. Obviously, there is a a lower bracket that we'll talk about in a bit. But folks, stay tuned because we're into the final game of this best of 3. And welcome back, everybody, to a tense Game 3, folks. We're going down to the wire in this best-of-3 playoffs match for our NECC games.
And boy, have these games been good. We are excited. We want to see what, Weber State and Cumberland bring. What do they pull out? It's fearless. So 10 champion. It's going to be a total of 30 champions that you can't pick from. Granted, there are 40 champions now? 130?
Something close. I think it's actually like 156 or something. But the point is there's a lot. Well, okay, interesting. We do see our first adaptation of the series. Weber having lost, saying we'd rather have red side. We want the counter pick.
Other than that, nothing changing. Kiana, Scion. Here, let me guess. Belveth.
Oh, crazy. I mean, we'll see. Who knows? It could be anything. Oh, wow, crazy. I mean, yeah, that's just how it goes, right? I imagine this will be, what will it be, Gallio or Italy? One of the two?
Gallio or Italy is my assumption that's what happens. I think that this might change because they are first pick. They might first pick the Lucian, give it up. It's not that big of a prio. Maybe ban something else they're worried about because they're going to first pick something else.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different possibilities, so we'll see. Okay, you're correct. Maybe first pick Lucian here. Does Weber end up banning it? They could adapt as well, right? Just depends. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they were banning Nidalee early, so that tells me the enemy jungle is a big Nidalee player, or maybe they're top laner, right? I don't know. But either way, okay, looks like it will be locked. Yeah, there is the Nidalee ban. So first pick open to Cumberland on blue. This is their first time on the blue side. What will they go for here?
What indeed what's first pickable here? You could go for, in Worlds it was Azir. You couldn't.
Oh, yeah, wow, okay, you were saying it. I honestly didn't expect to see it here, but it's left open, and there it is, first pick. Good call, Deathbaka.
That was the only thing I could really think of that's like this huge must ban or must first pick. What does Weber decide to do in retaliate? Okay, the typical Talia, where you can't Shurima shuffle if, you're going over shaky ground.
Yeah, Unraveled Earth is pretty good, I'd say. But Weber usually likes to do this with Talia Pantheon, Talia like an engaged jungler. So something like that would be good. And okay, Pantheon is open, so they will lock it.
I was going to say, we've seen amazing things happen. What does this mean? What will Phoenix decide to do for their second and third picks? Do they pick up their own jungler? Do they just lock in their bot lane and start banning out? Skarner buffs have come through, and that is a Skarner.
Wow, that's quite exciting. For those of you that don't know, honestly, Skarner Azir is a duo like Pantheon Talia that the LCK played a lot. Skarner interacted with Azir very, very bizarrely. You can push into Azir's wall and then very easily impale and walk through it to just really cause chaos. So I like the duo here. Now, time's ticking down. They've got one more pick Cumberland needs to pick here before the second half. What will they go for? Oh man, if this is locked, okay, and it is. This is an insane amount of scaling from Cumberland Phoenix. They liked it last game too. Weber's composition doesn't do a lot into this. Yes, it's utility useful, but late game, what do you do, right?
If you do go ahead and lock them down, it's pretty good. You have some decent bursts, really great things. Weber, though, final pick. What do they decide? As that is typically the answer into Sivir. For those of you who don't know, Sivir has a spell shield. Very useful. Completely useless when it comes to Alistar because your spell shield just absorbs the headbutt, but then the pulverize comes up. You still get bumped.
So it becomes a bit of a mind game, to be honest. I have seen servers be able to mind game it where they don't spell shield. If the Alistar W's first, they let it get hit by it. But again, if Alistar is fast enough on reaction, they don't let the W hit and they Q instead, right? Or they let it hit barely and then they Q. It's a weird thing. It's hard to say how it plays out. So it can be skillful, but mostly, as you said, Deathbaka, it is Alistar favored.
Braum going to be banned here. Very good with Sivir. Can block a lot of things. Block Talia, block Pantheon. Vayne going to get banned. Yeah, I can see Vayne being good. Can be a getaway. Can get the Skarner to go away. Same with the Azir. Makes sense why that would be banned away. I don't see Sendy playing that. Maybe that's a Vayne top worried.
So my take on it is that 1, it keeps up with Sivir. So obviously that's big. 2, as you mentioned, it kills Skarner, can kill Azir. 3, it's a big Worlds pick. We saw it multiple times this year at Worlds in answers to heavy CC competitions. Vayne's just in a good, healthy state right now. So that's probably my guess. Could also be a Vayne top, like you said. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see.
Poppy going to get banned away. We've seen what Poppy can do. Very strong, very powerful. What is the final ban? As A Fiora? Okay, I can kind of see this. Patao is known for their carry top lanes, but Camille is still around. Camille could be interesting.
I don't hate Camille.
We'll see what happens, as the Fiora going away is literally so that the Skarner and Azir don't have to deal with the riposte, and also Fiora will absolutely destroy Skarner.
Weaver now has a problem of scaling, like 100%. Pantheon scale fine, but compared to Azir, Sivir, Skarner, not by any means. Especially after the changes this patch, Skarner can build more Bruiser. Ooh, and that's a champion we haven't seen a lot, but it's very mobile, can stay away from Zeri, chains damage, and scales. So I like it. It may be not standard, and who knows, maybe it won't work, but I do like it.
We'll see what happens here as Phoenix, down to their last 2 picks. What do they go for? They need a support and I won't say it's not a top lane Skarner, but it could be. They need a support and a top laner.
Yeah, I think support's probably the easy one to pick while they decide what they want to do with the Skarner. This patch, it's very possible. Oh, man, that's really good. I mean, I talked about Sivir's movement speed and Zeri being able to be kind of fast, keep away from it. Dude, Zillion's late game slow, 99%, I believe. You're not going anywhere, unfortunately, Sandy.
You're not going anywhere, but Zillion has to run in to get that slow. Alistair just headbutts you away.
Yeah, so that's at least decent, right? I mean, I think Weaver's good disengage, all things considered. But, I don't know, the competition seems like it's behind, I would argue. So, last pick here from Cumberland. Oh, the groggy boy on topside, Gragas, the very, very mobile man with belly bumps and very funny casks.
We usually see this on Weber's side back when Jex was at our top lane and very powerful. What does Weber pick into it? I don't like Camille because Camille gets belly bumped really easy. Aatrox doesn't do the best. I'm trying to go through Batao's champions, thinking Weber does need some more damage, some more oomph. How are they gonna... That was an insta-lock Kale.
Well, you say insta-lock, they waited like almost the full time. So clearly it was insta-lock because they ran out of time nearly. But they were discussing it. I think this is crazy, but I love it. Zillion cannot slow 2 members at once, and Kale can actually become your late game insurance. But if you try and deny a Kale, Zeri can carry, and you just use the Divine Intervention, I think? What's the name of Kale's ultimate?
It is Divine Intervention, and even if, you go for someone else, Kale does that, and halfway through the Divine Intervention, she still gets the auto. So who do you shut down? Yes, Gragas can do really well into Kale to shut her down, but you have to focus her. You have to be up there. Meanwhile, Pantheon focuses your bot lane, get Zeri ahead, and then all of a sudden you worry about Zeri, and then Kale is... It's one of these push and pulls. Who do you shut down hard early? Because then you have to focus that, continue keeping them down.
So weird game as well, because I want to highlight that while Weber, I think, doesn't quite scale as well, despite the fact that I have Kale's area. I know that sounds crazy. But Weber has one advantage in terms of scaling, and it's what Cumberland had last game. Utility, right? I mean, look at the CC on Phoenix. It's Skarner, Zillion slow, and Gragas kind of, right? But if you build Swiftness boots, that's a lot of the slows that Skarner and Zillion want to do anyway. And then Weber has Talia, Pantheon, Alistar. That's much better CC.
Well, and you also have the disengage beyond belief on the side of Weber. Skarner's coming in through the wall, seismic shove, goodbye. Oh no, Skarner's coming through the wall, headbutt, goodbye.
Yeah, it's going to come down to execution here. I'm just happy to see Weber really get use out of their last pick, right? I was wondering, hey, they're really saving top lane pick here. I really hope Batao plays this like a menace because... Like you said, I was trying to think of Batao's champions as well, and I did not think of Kale. I'm not used to him doing it, so I hope it works.
I mean, we don't see Kale. She's one of those champions that Riot can't touch, because if they touch her at all, she becomes must-pick or ban in professional play, and then she's just amazing in every level. And then they nerf her, and then, no one wants to play her because she's awful until she's good.
Okay, looks like we got a little bit of a delay here getting in the game, folks. Thank you for waiting with us very patiently.
Yeah, looks like there's some technical difficulties with the spectator doing funky things. We'll keep you posted. Riot Spaghetti Code. You know all these fun things that happen.
Well, actually, it looks like we did finally get it working there, so thank goodness we're in the game, folks. I thought it would be maybe a little bit longer, but production figured it out. So some cool skins and chromas here, I'd say, from Weber. A lot of the black-orange theming and bottom side.
I do have to shout out to Mystiques. For those of you who don't understand why, he's running Black Alistair. Now, for those of you who are like, oh, big deal, it's a skin. What you don't understand is the only way for you to have that skin is if you bought the alpha version of League of Legends. Back when it cost $60 in 2010.
That is crazy. So, shout out Mystique. Clearly been around for quite a while, folks. I mean, we're happy to have them on the team. I think they've been a great player for Weber this semester. Honestly, Weber's team has really come together. They've done very, very well, almost undefeated other than the forfeit they needed to do at the end of the season. So, I'm pretty happy with their performance. But unfortunately, none of the performance of the previous season matters in this exact moment. Of course, it's nice, it's good mental, but you've got to perform right now. You've put all of your eggs in the basket of Sendy and Batau. They need to pay off.
And you're going to be spotted there by TH3. They know where he is. He does have that cheeky little ward, but they just want to stop you from doing anything funky, maybe an early invade to use the power of Pantheon's passive, Mortal Will.
That was some nice alliteration there. I like it. I mean, I think this game's going to be a little weird because I fear the Zillion factor. A good Zillion can genuinely win a game on their own. A well-timed Chrono Shift.
It's Chrono Shift because his is actually doing it the way it's supposed to. Echoes breaks it. That's why it's Chrono Break.
Right, thank you. That's the way to remember it for those of you at home. I had forgotten as well, so I appreciated that, Baka. Yeah, I mean, Chrono Shift does a lot of potential work in fights.
At least we don't have to see any Chrono Shifts in our game where we actually have to do a pause and going back to weird things. And Mystique's gonna do the typical, I'm gonna headbutt you on cooldown. It does a lot of damage that people don't actually expect it to do.
It's also really funny to watch because you're not used to Alistar just headbutting and walking away, but it can deny some minions sometimes in lanes, so it's funny. Looks like a lot of these lanes will be fairly casual. Weber on the back foot on the bot side, but ahead in both top and well, hold on, I'm just sorry, my brain just got denied. Why is Kale 12 CS to 5 on Gragas currently? What?
I think it's because Gragas doesn't have belly bop and Kale had passive and press the attack. So Kale level 1 actually is deceptive. It's really good as Goku actually going to get caught here. Does not have the seismic shove yet, but the flash from the Azir going to go over it, and that is a quick first blood over to Azir. Not what you want to see. Goku will have teleport to come back, will have his flash for future engagements.
Really good play from Cumberland Phoenix. They send their jungler there really early saying, hey, stop farming for a bit, we can make a play here. Goku saves their flash for what it's worth. They decided they really didn't want to use it there. But Azir down a flash, that's not bad. It's just an exchange for a kill. A potential good player. Zillion stun-locked themselves by using their passive. They'll slow Sendy by a lot. And with Skarner in the area, maybe it could be a big play for Weber if they have the window just barely here. But Sendy now taking a lot of damage. This bomb will do so much and needs to respect it. A flash forward from Mystiques is enough. The push forward with the headbutt. You can see Suki using the barrier. Oh, the flash forward from Sendy to guarantee they get it. Even the Zillion's flash is not enough, but there's the Skarner here and happy to pick up, I would say, both of these kills, it looks like. And rather, Mystique's getting a lot of stuns here. Okay, looks like they will give their life in exchange for Sendy's. Not a bad exchange at the end of the day.
Yeah, a kill onto Zeri, very strong. And only an assist for the Sivir.
That's kind of a big deal. I don't know, this has been a very bloody game already. Overall, we were kind of on the back foot, other than in top lane where Kaylee is winning. Now that I've had some time to reason out and be less surprised. Ooh, actually, good seismic shove. But yeah, in top side, for those of you who don't know, I really do think Kale is like the best level 1 champion in the game. She has an auto attack, reset, and passive damage on her autos. We'll have to talk about that in a second, as I think Goku will perish once again here. Still has their flash, choosing to hold it again for so long. They will eventually be forced to use it, but maybe there's a play here from Weber. They remember that Azir has no flash, and they finally make the aggressive play. They know actually that also this Zillion has no flash as well, so maybe they want to try something.
And once again, Mystique's on this champion that can be just so frustrating and annoying to deal with. We saw it on the Bard. Kale now going to start losing some of these trades. Gragas has the advantage on sustain, but there is an Alistar coming up. Can possibly help him. With that slow, Kale will run up, has her passive stacked. Doing really good things. And my brain knows it's Batau, but I keep saying Kale because that's what I see up there. Batau, we love you. Please turn off streamer mode.
I understand, right? For Soku, it's a very good thing. Maybe we can mention to him sometime. But hey, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a reminder of the champion he's playing because it's probably the most relevant champion in the game other than, again, the Zillion factor. This is a very scary Kale picking up Swiftness Boots now, which means he can start kiting like a menace once he hits 6, right? Kale's W and Swiftness Boots make her so mobile, and it becomes very difficult to do anything. A really good position once again from TH3, maybe going for a mid lane gank, but a good ward just put down from Goku might keep them safe.
Yep, we'll be able to spot that. The Raptors not going to be able to get taken away. Things calming down a little bit, but Goku now gonna be able to see, I think, knows, yep, gonna see it now as the Skarner just gonna simply run through, be annoying, but a gank coming here in the bot lane possibly. You not gonna be able to find it. Will just simply take the ward and back out.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure in mid lane right now from Cumberland Phoenix. That being said, Azir down in a decent amount of farm. I'm just not realizing. Up in the kill, so it doesn't matter too much. But Weaver has to respect it. They can't go for any crazy dives. Zilean is very killable right now. You'll notice he has boots and ability haste, which is nice, but that is not any health. Zilean is certainly almost killable.
And Kale now hit that level 6 point that you said. Becomes ranged, becomes very frustrating to deal with. Gragas gonna have to do what he can to be frustrating, be annoying, but Batao simply gonna walk up. Gragas has to trade mana for farming, for poke. Kale's just gonna auto, be very annoying, frustrating. It is one of the most annoying things when you're like, okay, Kale, gotta shut her down early, and then you just don't.
Yeah, early ends for Kale a lot sooner than a lot of other scaling champions. Things like Nasus need to get a couple more stacks. 6 is nice, but it's not that broken. Kale immediately against a lot of champions can go nuts at level 6. It's really early on. And remember, even if she can't completely pop off, she's still very defensive. Sneak's going for a play, but they don't have vision on the Skarner here. They need to be very careful, Weaver. I think they could be punished. But that being said, they now have vision on the Skarner. It's just that the Skarner is making the aggressive play. They're going to try and maybe turn the play around onto the Azir first. But if Azir and Skarner link up, it will do so much work. You really not winning the fight right now. Actually, they do force the flash out of Skarner. I think the bottom side in a great position. They're going to kind of leave an awkward position for the Azir. But there Azir goes dashing forward. He gets stunned just barely. Can't get the wall off. And there's feats of strength. Weaver just barely unable to find the damage. Goku went for Weaver's wall, but found themselves in the wrong position. I don't think it was a worthwhile play.
It is unfortunate. Weaver not able to finish things as a really good explosive cask, forcing the divine intervention out of Batao here in the top lane. Ult for ult coming down. That does help Batao. He now isn't under as much threat of being killed. Gonna be able to farm up, get some things going. Does have the Doran's Blade, which means he does have life still to try to help him sustain through this damage, through the mana pool. Sendy here could be in some trouble of getting dove. Does have his ultimate. Gonna be able to dodge away from this bomb, but does not have the mana. The slow coming in here. The headbutt pulverize coming in. That's a lot of damage. That's an exhaust coming through and a heal coming through. The damage coming in, but Sendy not able to do things. But here comes the Grand Starfall from you. Will go ahead and get that in. Gonna hopefully try to get it. Gonna force them to come back into it with the Comet Spear into the Aegis Assault. No, sorry, that's the E, not the W.
Yeah, I am happy to see Weaver find a play in. The Pantheon now 3-1, but notice that Pantheon's inventory, folks. You has decided, hey, we are going to have troubles late game if I go full bruisery defensive. I am building lethality. I can also be a huge damage dealer, so that suddenly there's 3 threats on Weaver's composition. I really don't hate it.
Let's see. So a serrated dirk into, I don't know what that item is called. Is that Hubris?
So that's a Retrix. My guess is it's Ghostblade, because those are the components that build in the Ghostblade. I think they build into one other assassin item, and I can't think of the top of my head, but not those components. So I'm pretty sure that will be a Ghostblade. Right now you can see map a bit split here, but definitely in the favor of Phoenix. They're doing pretty well right now with the support being topside as well, and stealing away a red buff would be a huge deal. Azir does have the Sureman Shuffle combo alive and ready to go, and with Kale's ultimate not quite being up, it looks like Cumberland wants to make a play top, but it's spotted out by Batao.
Though this is 4 people top, Batao being so respectful, and you gonna be able to find this out. Gonna get slowed, gonna be stunned up, but the jump in. Mystique's is here as well, but he does not have his 6, and Zilean does.
Yeah, that means that dives are so easy to pull off, right? Zilean just presses R on the person who starts tanking and just lets them tank. Go crazy. Now, you in the area has Flash trying to hover back so they can maybe bait the play, but looks like Weaver choosing to do a different play on the other side of the map as Cumberland decides to give up their dive. They say, Kale's a little hard to do. She's got Divine Intervention soon. She has Flash. It's not worth it.
Sendy, though, actually going to be able to trade ultimates with the Sivir, doing really well. You here, going to get his big chicken smited away. Does not feel great, but Goku doing the seismic shove, like I mentioned. You see where the slippery scorpion is coming in. And once again, damage coming in from this Greg. It's going to be very annoying. Has the phase rush.
Also finish has a completed Catalyst of Aeons. There's actually no play here in the mid side. Looks like Azir caught off in a weird position judging by where he ended up dying. So a decent play from Weaver State. They're trying to force out the Oh, unfortunately, it looks like a good play, an insane play from Skarner. This is what Skarner loves to do. That being said, you kind of getting out. It's going to be up to the Zillion to clean it up. Gets the shutdown, but honestly, that's a champion that does not mind getting it. Looks like the big play that Weaver's going for is here in the bot side. Can they punish the Sivir enough? No, barrier should be enough to sustain. Mystique's going for play, but will die to tower. Is this worthwhile? Yeah, I don't think it is. Oh, just barely escapes, but here comes the Zillion speeding at 1,000 miles an hour. Sendy does still have barrier. Did use their flash for it. I might think that's worth it. I just don't know.
We'll see what happens because the Sivir does lose minions, does lose tempo, is not on the map, is not collecting, is in a rough position. I believe the explosive cast was used to try to fight the Kayle, but Kayle did not use their divine intervention.
Yeah, good window it looks like for Batao to slowly start scaling. They want to recall and try and do a lot. BG just wants to get the big damage on the tower with that Cask Bop, the strong W, the Drunken Rage, I think, which is a very interesting name for an ability.
Gives him damage reduction, gives him damage on the next hit he does. Very interesting. Ward's going to be taken out by Mystiques. You can see at the top of your screen there. Goku trying to play safe, really waiting to try to see if we can get this Talia Pantheon combo back online that we saw so much last year.
It's a very tense game set, I would say. 6-6, Weaver slightly ahead in gold, but honestly, not in a way that really matters. I don't know, I'm feeling the pressure here. You can see, ooh, actually, okay, interesting. You want to talk about the components and the items here on Skarner, Duckfucker?
So, Skarner has built a Titanic Hydra. A lot of you are going, what the heck? He's a tank. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it because Sendy's going in, and that is a barrier and a everything used from Sivir, and you're still dead. I'm sorry, Zeri just does way too much damage. Okay, now I can talk about it. Titanic Hydra on Skarner, you're going, what the heck? You're a tank. Why are you doing this? Skarner got changed this patch so that he's better as a bruiser.
Yeah, he got AD scalings on his E that did not exist before, and a slightly better AD scaling on his Q, I believe, along with a weirder cooldown interaction between it. He now has to actually use the entirety of the rock before the cooldown starts, so he can't just sit with one and wait the cooldown to take away. THP going for a play. It looks like they want to try and stop Sendy from getting a lot, but they instead changed their mind over to chasing you, and now it means that Sendy's in a good position. He needs to be really respectful, though. I don't think his team has communicated where the rest of the enemy team is, clearly. TH3 running forward, but Mystiques is in the area, so should be fine. Gragas going for a bit of a play. Explosive Cast used recently, and Divine Intervention, so both top laners using their ultimates. Kayle still pulling away, though, but Tao doing not too shabby.
Doing really well for himself. Will hit level 11 soon, and that's a big power spike. Gets insane wave clear, and tower plating really going over Weaver's favor. They don't have grubs, yet they are doing really well.
Wow, I mean, there was a bit of a trying to attempt. Oh, that was an insane sidestep of the Impale there. He would not have been able to walk out, and a good seismic shove as well.
One of the things that was actually the small change onto Skarner that happened, his ultimate takes slightly longer to charge up. Old Skarner hits that.
Yeah, it went from 0.65 to 0.75. You're 100% correct. I've forgotten about that change. One of the smallest Skarner changes that clearly, fortunately, TH3 is not happy about.
I mean, Sendy is 3-0 on Zeri with a completed Young Tong Wild Arrows. I can't English, and that's not even good English. Let's not get there. But that is terrifying.
Yeah, Yuntal is very strong. Yuntal, it's hard to pronounce. Y-U-N-T-A-L. That's the item. So, I mean, we were just starting to scale now, and it seems that obviously Cumberland has been trying to shut down Kayle a little bit just by spending pressure. Good sidestep from Batao. They're really going for the dive. I don't know if this is worth it. Again, Kayle now level 11, going to choose to play it, and will actually end up winning out in the trade. I think that mostly Gragas just wants the time to get damage on the tower. Mystique's in the area, though, but so is the Zillion. Looks like Mystique really want to play it careful, not reveal that he's here. Garner coming up as well. Kayle doesn't have Divine Intervention, but does have a very strong support.
But Chrono Break, Chrono Shift is here. They're going to go onto the Kayle, get stunned up. The Impale is not around, and a kill onto the Azir there will go over. But in the top lane, thanks to a big pulverize from Mystiques, he will have to use the Unbreakable Will, but that is going to be first tower and a sacrifice on Mystiques. You save your Kayle, which is huge, very well played, but that is feats of strength over to the side of Chamberlain.
So honestly, fairly worth. They're really afraid of this Kayle. She's level 11 now, starting to scale. Batao doing a lot of work. So they're trying to shut it down a lot, but Weaver winning a ton of plays on the other side of the map. That's their second Drake of the game. Sendy is still 3-0-1 up in experience, and they get a play onto the Azir. So you can see that Weaver says, hey, Kayle might have been the bait almost this game. Although it does need to be careful, walking up a little bit too far here. They do have Divine Intervention, but just barely dodging that Skarner E there. Hey, maybe looking to go in here. It still has Divine Intervention. Again, you have to remember that. So even though there's an explosive cast going on, the ultimate does not hit the member it needs to. And Mystique's still up here trying to protect their almost AP carry at this point.
I mean, it definitely is an AP carry. This is now 4 people in the top side. Come on, guys. Go somewhere else. We know that Kale is frustrating, but you can do other things. Heck, you're losing a tower in the mid lane, possibly. Though, Sivir is here to cover it. But Goku hovering around. The Kale going to have to use the Divine Intervention. Will go down. Teleport coming in here. Mystique's getting really low. Will headbutt away. The Zilean going to try to do things. Grag is going to teleport in, but with that bomb, will go down. Sendy not able to finish things off. The Grand Starfall having to be channeled to get out by you. Very well played there for Chamberlain.
It's clear that Chamberlain wants to play these grouped up fights, punish this Kale a lot, but guess what, folks? The moment the Chamberlain overplays in the top side, so many teleports expended, you can see where Batao goes. He says, wait, I have so much time to get resources here. Gragas has to normally recall, walk all the way back, and actually now, maybe it looks like they want to go for the player, but you walled off by his own mid laner. They still have the ability to do so. Keep in mind the chrono shift is there, but Azir has the stream and shuffle up, so they've got to find the angle. There it is. Sendy's in a beautiful position, though, so it doesn't matter the chrono break's going out. They're just trying to solve for time. Sendy still has his ultimate. Should be able to kill the Azir just faster, but no, an insane escape from the Azir, trying to flash forward, get the damage, but unfortunately Skarner can stand in the way. A second flash, Sendy gets a kill on the top side, and we can now focus on the bottom side of the flag, flashing forward from you. Remember, this is a lethality pantheon for the most part, and now they're trying to join the kill to Kale. There it is, but Tao roams up, finds a beautiful play, and Weber finds an insane sequence.
And that's going to be top tower too. Sendy is so far ahead, so strong. He will demolish this tower. A kill going over to Batao is huge. He already has boots, almost a finished call, and a Gnasher's Tooth. This is terrifying territory. Thank you for the another alliteration.
All right, we are in a very cool game state where Weber, I think, has struggles late game. Certainly, they needed to get to late game in a good state, and not only are they in a good state, they're up 5,000 gold nearly, right? 2 Drakes as well, with another one spawning in 2.5 minutes. They've got time to scale, time to maybe finish a Cole on Kale. Not bad by any means, and Zeri with a completed Infinity Edge. No one has been respecting Sendy that much, right? They're worried about the Batao click. They're worried about the duo of the jungle bot. They're worried about Mystique's causing chaos, and then Sendy just quietly waits for Phoenix to overstay, and then picks up a kill after kill after kill.
He's just been doing really good. I personally don't like Zeri. I feel like every time I see her in my game, she either carries and kills my entire team, or my laner absolutely ints. But Sendy putting on a masterclass, using that W to find the poke, be annoying. Goku able to just kind of simply be down here. He has the Weaver's Wall to possibly join fights, be annoying. You gonna stack up the Comet Spear, get his passive up as in the top lane. Kale.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that Zeri is no longer in her heyday by any means. Her glory days are over. But she's by no means weak. The champion is insane and scales super well at this AoE teamfight, as unfortunately Zeri, once again, does not look like he's long for this world. He can only push one person if all 3 of them walk from different directions.
One thing I do want to say, that was a Azir tower, so that isn't another tower going over. I believe the smite went over to you there as Comet Spear and the smite coming down. But I just want to simply say things. We're still kind of in spooky season. Remember Tank Zeri?
Yeah, I do, and I've seen it a little bit in certain game modes, but oh my gosh, look at that insane damage from the Pantheon! He's going to try and do the Impale as well to prevent Pantheon from getting away, but there is the Zilean to do slows by so much. But again, that's a Zilean picking up another shutdown. Certainly it's a support that doesn't mind the gold, but it's not optimal.
At the end of the day, this is a Zilean that's going support. He's not mid lane Zilean. He's not going AP. His chrono shift is not going to do nearly as much as you think it should when you're building this full AP. Granted, he can get things like a Mikhail's quicker, do great things.
Well, I'm suddenly realizing that the experience difference for Weber is kind of nuts. Sendy is 3 levels up on Sivir. She is a non-factor in this game. Not Sendy, I just talked about Sendy. Goku up 2 levels on their opponent. Weber has said, all right, fine, you want to shut down Batao, you want to prevent him from playing the game as freely as he'd like to. He'll still end up ahead, and all the while, we'll find the members we need to get ahead.
It's one of those situations, okay, you're sending your support, your top lane, and your jungle to kill my top laner. My top laner is just going to sit back in EXP range, get it, and you're sharing all that EXP. Not a good feeling.
That's a good point. I suppose that really is where it's coming from. Drake up now. Batao reset, wants to walk back to the map, almost has a death cap though. Being a little bit off feels so bad. It's the best item by a long shot for Kale's second with how much scaling she has. Looks like Zillion started the Drake a little bit there, but we were perfectly fine. He basically pulled it out for them, so they just have to play a bit carefully. TH3 on the way. Sendi's still in a good position, though. I think it looks like they're going to have to give the third Drake of the game over. Can Batal maybe try and find a play? They're going to slow. Oh, they're absolutely going to try and find a play. Weaver just barely hitting the wall there. Forced to flash Sivir, but she's not able to flash over the wall, so she still has to run far away. Everything other than the barrier used from the Sivir.
I mean, that also was the on the hunt used. A explosive cast hitting 3 members, but not knocking anyone to where they need to go. Kale is still here. Kale is still a threat. A seismic shove not going to hit, but that doesn't matter. Kale is unlocked. Using the Divine Intervention aggressively to block damage while they're still able to auto. The Azir trying to do things, just not being able to do things. The Chrono Brook shift already used, and Azir has not had time to scale up. Sendi might go down here, but wow, that Comet Spear was so close. The end Mystique's, my man, using the Hex Flash to try to get in headbutt range. The Gragas might have overstayed his welcome. The damage reduction doing great things, but Kale is unlocked, unleashed.
I thought the waves would kill Azir. They were bouncing through Gragas. But look, Weaver once again on the bottom side. Sendi eventually started getting hit in that fight. But if we had a replay system, boy, I wish I could show you all how long they basically ignored him. They were frightened of the Kale flashing in, and he finds it. That's actually pretty good in the long run. Support gets a kill for a support kill, but if the person that dies is Azir, right? That's tempo. Once again, it's buying time for, say, a side laner who wants a bit more time to be safe.
And at the end of the day, Zillion gets it. We're okay with Zillion getting some gold. It's just, we're going to get it back later when we kill Zillion.
Yeah, Zillion getting 1 or 2 kills early game, sure, that's fine, right? In fact, in very bloody games, Zillion having 4 kills is fine. It's a champion that uses gold well. When your Zillion has more kills on your team than any other member, any two members combined, you kind of feel bad about that, actually.
The Rift Herald also being forced out. I think the timer expired, causing them to have to use it. And Sendi's just like, oh, 50 gold for me? You shouldn't have.
Yeah, look at Sendi's item differences. And again, we'll highlight the experience stuff. They just cut up a little bit. But now, because of the Otacon, many members of Weaver ahead of their composition. No one behind, and most 2 levels up. Actually, no, Goku does hit 3. Oh, there's a teleport play going topside. Looks like they were trying to make a play onto Batal, but ladies and gentlemen, didn't even have to use the Divine Intervention. Kale's just too fast now, and an insane play goes on the favor of Weaver. Being said, they're starting to lose a little bit on the bottom side of the fight. Kale's so close to 16, I can imagine Batal maybe saying, hey, wait a second, give me as many waves as we can. I'd like to wait a bit.
The Pantheon going to go ahead and get stunned up here a little bit, but Mystique's still looking for the engage. Hits it. The ult's coming in. The Weaver's Wall. Yeah, I really don't care that you have a Chrono Break when Zillion dies instantly, and then your Sivir's just left there. And unfortunately, Chamberlain was hoping, let's shut this kill down before that. I'm pretty sure late game's here.
Yeah, Cumberland did a decent amount, but I'm realizing now that Weaver's composition has something I didn't highlight in draft, which is AoE. Kale waves. Zeri's literally everything because her champion is cool. Alistar, you've got the Seismic Shove in most of Talia's kit, which is actually built very utility. You can see in inventory of Goku. Which Mystique's having some fancy feet, but will end up going down. It's overstayed a little bit.
It's Mystique's. We forgive him. He's funny. Sendi gonna go ahead and take away some Raptors, take away a red buff. You know, in game 1, it was Yu's jungle. It's Sendi's jungle now.
All right, folks. Tick-tock, the timer is almost up. Keep a close eye on that little number in the corner of your screen there, because we've got a top laner real close.
Yeah, that's almost a level 16 Kale. That is terrifying because she becomes permanently exalted, gaining range, attack speed, and damage. We'll see some of these things coming in. We'll back out. It's not a great look when your Kale is this far ahead at 25 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, she's far ahead in terms of gold. A little down in terms of experience as well, which is honestly kudos to the Gragas, but it's mostly because of the, what's the name of the item?
Rod of Ages!
Thank you. It's getting a little late here, of course, at Utah, so my brain's starting to slip on some item names. But I can tell you, I'm still fully here for these fights. A Void Staff now from Goku I like a lot. Once again, they send Batal on sideline saying, hey guys, let's just try and not make any major plays really fast. Although, Mystique's maybe finding a pick. They're gonna, a slight status step from Sendi means that they can just barely go in. They're gonna get the Chrono Shift, but again, the Chrono Shift fully in the fight. Oh, I don't know about that play from Batal. Still not 60, but so fast. Look at how insane that speed is there. Despite the fact that there's a zillion in the game, Sendi flashing forward, not afraid. Weaver looks like they're going to trade 5 for 0. An insane play from them that looked like it was sketchy here and there, but they stay together, they stay alive, and that, folks, should be the entire game and the series to Weaver State if these death timers are just long enough.
Kale is level 16 now. She is fully unlocked. unburdened, will just unleash hell upon this base, along with Zeri, 8-0. It is looking good. They're going to go ahead and use their health bars to make it so that the towers target them, not their minions, so that these towers will go down. And with that, the Nexus is not long for this world. Weber State will take this match and continue on to the semifinals here with a 2-1 win over Chamberlain Phoenix.
It could be quarterfinals, I have to double check, but either way, folks, what an insane series. I'm happy to have seen Weber do that. I was worried about their draft, but the last 2 picks going unkilled in this game, Kale Zeri really pulling their weight.
We do appreciate you for joining us this evening. We hope that you had as much fun as we did, and hope to see you on Wednesday for our Rocket League games.
Yes, and of course, Thursday and Friday will be more league games next week. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.